40. Been on my soapbox for years, saying the end was coming. While y'all was busy popping Zans, the master plan unfolded. Now all I see is bot bitches and fake niggas and pussy niggas who only bust triggers on other niggas. You get an illegal weapon and started taking pictures like them feds ain't watching all in your celly system. China's here, motherfucker, they're no longer coming. We wear the shackles on our faces and you niggas love it. You niggas really sold your souls for 3,200. But when them tanks hit the streets, better get the bussin'. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off. They cheering on censorship. I hope you pay attention. Whatever happened to the laptop that came from Clinton? Judge acquit the fucking trial when she killed a witness. Biden kissing little kids, gripping on their business. Trump was trying to tell you niggas, but you never listen. Unless CNN say you never get the message. Fauci lying to the Senate, peeping how we sweat. I know a pussy when I see one bitch, it gets wet. Bill Gates gotta run it too, I ain't forget. Depopulation's the agenda, black man's a threat. Vaccinate everybody, I'm peeping how they rushing. But I'm like, fuck all you pussies, I'd rather get the bussin'. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off. They might not shoot the messenger, but they gon' hang a nigga. Cracking heads and turn around trying to vaccinate us. I won't fall for the dick in the tailpipe like giving away my wealth, bitch. I'd rather damn die. If I said I wasn't worried, shit, I'd be a damn lie. I brought a child in this world and I'm scared for his damn life. They wanna take away the kids if we don't comply. That's why they wanna take our guns so we can't fight. But I'll be damned, I got this 6, we live on taper time. Work a 9 to fucking 6, sweat to make a dime. I can't go for the bull, tired of the fussin'. Hit Kamala with the big dick and started bussin' us. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off.
White liberals who have posed as our friends. White liberals who have been eager to point out what the white men in the South have been doing to us, while they themselves here in the North are doing the same thing. They have been making a great fuss over the South, only to blind us to what is happening here in the North. And now that the eyes of America's 20 million blacks can easily see that this white fox here in the North is even more cruel and vicious than the white wolf in the South. The southern wolves always let you know where you stand. But these northern foxes pose as white liberals. They pose as your friend, pose as your benefactor, pose as your employer. They pose as your landlord. They pose as the neighborhood merchant. They pose as your lawyer trying to help you. They infiltrate all your organizations. And in this manner, by joining you, they strangle your militant efforts toward freedom, toward justice, and toward equality.
It's just different.
I see the way these people moving, gotta step according. These days you never know who's watching, better keep your 40. Been on my soapbox for years, saying the end was coming. While y'all was busy popping Zans, the master plan unfolded. Now all I see is bot bitches and fake niggas and pussy niggas who only bust triggers on other niggas. You get an illegal weapon and started taking pictures like them feds ain't watching all in your celly system. China's here, motherfucker, they're no longer coming. We wear the shackles on our faces and you niggas love it. You niggas really sold your souls for 3,200. But when them tanks hit the streets, better get the bussin'. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off. They cheering on censorship. I hope you pay attention. Whatever happened to the laptop that came from Clinton? Judge quit the fucking trial when she killed a witness. Biden kissing little kids, gripping on their business. Trump was trying to tell you niggas, but you never listen. Unless CNN say you never get the message. Fauci lying to the Senate, peeping how we sweat. I know a pussy when I see one, bitch, it gets wet. Bill Gates gotta run it too, I ain't forget. Depopulation's the agenda, black man's a threat. Vaccinate everybody, I'm peeping how they rushing. But I'm like, fuck all you pussies, I'd rather get the bussin'. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off. They might not shoot the messenger, but they gon' hang a nigga. Cracking his and turn around trying to vaccinate us. I won't fall for the dick in the tailpipe like giving away my wealth, bitch. I'd rather damn die. If I said I wasn't worried, shit, I'd be a damn lie. I brought a child in this world and I'm scared for his damn life. They wanna take away the kids if we don't comply. That's why they wanna take our guns so we can't fight. But I'll be damned, I got this 6, we live on paper time. Work a 9 to fucking 6, sweat to make a dime. I can't go for the bull, tired of the fussing. Hit Kamala with the big dick and started busting us. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off, mask off, nigga. Mask off.
White liberals who have posed as our friends, white liberals who have been eager to point out what the white men in the South have been doing to us, while they themselves here in the North are doing the same thing. They have been making a great fuss over the South, only to blind us to what is happening here in the North. And now that the eyes of America's 20 million blacks can easily see that this white fox here in the North is even more cruel and vicious than the white wolf in the South. The southern wolves always let you know where you stand. But these northern foxes pose as white liberals. They pose as your friend, pose as your benefactor, pose as your employer. They pose as your landlord. They pose as the neighborhood merchant. They pose as your lawyer trying to help you. They infiltrate all your organizations. And in this manner, by joining you, they strangle your militant efforts toward freedom, toward justice, and toward equality.
Just different.
I see the way these people moving, gotta step according. These days you never know who's watching, better keep your 40. Been on my soapbox for years, saying the end was coming. While y'all was busy popping Zans, the master plan unfolded. Now all I see is bot bitches and fake niggas and pussy niggas who only bust triggers on other niggas. You get an illegal weapon and started taking pictures, like them feds ain't watching all in your celly system. China's here, motherfucker, they're no longer coming. We wear the shackles on our faces and you niggas love it. You niggas really. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Culture Show. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate everybody that decided to stop in today. You know what I mean? You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to pull up with your boy. So I appreciate that. This is going to be my new weekly segment. I call it the State of the Republic. All right, so this is episode 1, and we got a lot of topics to talk about today, y'all. Like we're probably going to be going for, a few hours. We're streaming on YouTube, we're streaming on Twitch, and we're on X as well right now. So, hey, we're going to make it do what it do for real. And so yeah, once again, I appreciate you guys for stopping in. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and just start off hot. All right, so Jake Paul went ahead and got that first round knockout, right? So I wanted to watch the first round with you guys. It got posted on Twitter, so I wanted to watch the first round with you guys leading up to the knockout and kind of give my take on what I see, and then we'll move on to the to why I even think that this is interesting, because I'm not really watching for Jake Paul, right? So let's go ahead and that. Like boom, like so. Move me down here. All right, let's get into this. Now, first thing is like, I'm really enjoying the distance managing, right? I'm enjoying the distance management that I'm seeing from Jake. All right, I'm seeing he has him at that jab length. You know what I mean? As long as you can keep a nigga at that jab length, hey man, you're good. You know what I mean? Because like if you can keep them behind your jab and they can't move in to all they can do is really just move forward and try to hug you, just like Buddy did right there. So boom, boom. Good in and out. That's how you got to do it. When you got longer arms, you got to be in and out. Good body shot. Okay, that was a good chest shot. Good pressure. Yeah. That was a good body shot. Ooh. Damn. Ooh, stumbled him. See, what Buddy has to do is he's in his southpaw, so he has to, or they're both fighting with their left hand or their right hand is the power hand, so they're both fighting in orthodox. So what he has to do is he has to bring that right hand over the top of his jab, and he's not doing that effectively.
Boom. There you go. See that? Just like that. Boom. Oh, shit. Damn. Woo. Damn. Yeah, man. Oof. Sparked that nigga, didn't he? Sparked that nigga, didn't he? Look, I got this one. This is another look at another angle. This is another angle right here. Let's take a look at it right here.
Triple jab, high low, uppercuts, hook, overhand.
Jeez.
It's the uppercut.
Boom. Gets it. That was beautiful right there. That was one of the best setups, you know what I'm saying, like I've seen from Jake Paul. Reaching that long arm out there. You know what I mean? Reaching that long arm out there. You get a feel for where your target is. Okay? Got that long arm. As long as that nigga don't move, you come up with that. Ooh. Sock buddy smooth out.
It's the uppercut. He gets it done. His eyes roll to the back of his head.
Man. Yeah, that was a pretty good knockout. I wasn't expecting. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that. You know, I honestly didn't watch it. You know what I mean? I didn't plan on watching it. I didn't, you know, the only reason I even caught any interest in it was because I saw like after the fight, you know what I mean? Like what happened. And then, you know, anybody who's been watching me for a little while now, you guys know that I am, you know, all in for Vivek Ramaswamy at this moment. And this went past my timeline. So, you know, of course I had to, you know, of course I had to go ahead. Because at first I saw this video from the back, right? I saw this video from the back. And when I saw this video from the back, it was like like you couldn't hear what they were saying, right? You couldn't hear what they were saying. All I saw was Vivek, like, you know, he looked like he like pushed him off, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like punched him off of him a little bit, you know what I mean? You know, it looked like he was just congratulating him. And then, you know, I see this part.
Hey, he said he voted for Biden.
Hey man, if he voted for Biden, you better knock that nigga smooth out, nigga. If he voted for Biden, I'm glad you put that nigga smooth on his ass, nigga. I'm glad, nigga. Cause look, nigga, rent ain't been the same, nigga. Rent ain't been the same, nigga. Skittles are $3.50 now. I'm not enjoying myself. You know what I mean? I'm not enjoying myself right now. But that was you know, that's kind of how I wanted to just, you know, start off the stream, you know, be lighthearted, you know, get a little lighthearted out the way, you know, and yeah. So at this point, yeah, like I said, I'm all in on Vivek Ramaswamy. I think that Vivek is by far the most intelligent candidate. He's the richest self-made candidate. Like when you think about Trump, like, yeah, like he's self-made, but you know, technically his family, you know, had money. He got that $1 million loan or whatever, you know what I mean? But he made it do what it do with $1 million. But, you know, like he had that loan, right? He had that loan. And for as, you know, Vivek, he just came up, you know, came up from the bottom, went to Yale, Harvard, you know, and started 2 businesses, you know, this is or 3 businesses, wrote 3 books in the past few years. Like this is a person that I can get behind, right, for president. And he's really trying to get involved and make an impact with younger people, and I can actually see that, which is the reason why he's even in. I believe he's associating with himself with Jake Paul. And I think anybody who like pays attention to the Paul brothers, we all know Jake is the better brother. Like, yeah, we don't really believe that he's a boxer or whatever, but we all know that Jake's the better brother because fucking Logan is a piece of shit. Like, I like him as a wrestler, but Logan is a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But all right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic. you know, we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic. And the next topic lead is honestly perfect from where I was. Like, so I want Vivek Ramaswamy to be the next United States president. If we can't get Donald Trump, if we can't get, you know what I mean? Like, if Donald Trump is on the ballot, I'm gonna vote for him. If Ron DeSantis is on the ballot, I'm gonna vote for him. That is, I guess, that's not a question. The problem is, I don't like either of those guys more than I like Vivek. So, but let's go ahead and talk about the current administration. Broke back Biden. Let's go ahead and talk about him. All right. We got to talk about it. All right. I know it's painful. We've seen it a couple of times already, so it's gonna be real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get kicked off of YouTube. You know, I think Twitch will be all right with it since they're allowing artistic nudity. I think this will be if they're allowing artistic nudity now, you know what I'm saying, on Twitter. I think that this would be abstract, if you want to call it that, I guess, right? Abstract. I don't know. So let's go ahead. Real quick. Hide your kids, right? This is explicit content, you know, warning. So this video just leaked. And it's of a White House campaign staffer, a Democratic White House campaign staffer, or not campaign staffer, just a White House staffer, right? Getting his back blown to smithereens. All right, getting his back blown to smithereens on the Senate floor. All right. Now, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention. All right. Hold on. Let me just look real quick. Add to this real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I don't, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see that shit, you know, but it happened. All right. This shit got leaked. This shit's everywhere. And we got to talk about it, dog. We got to talk about it. Because has anybody noticed how crazy and insane the fucking White House has been since Biden has taken over? I mean, like, just like we could talk about Democrats, you know what I mean, until we're blue in the face and all the crazy shit that they're up to and that they've been doing over the past few decades. But just this administration alone, we have had a trans individual invited to the White House take a topless picture on the White House lawn. On the White House lawn, right? We've had Easter bunnies twerking on the White House lawn. Okay. We've had drag queens. Okay. Drag queens doing a half-naked dance for Christmas in the White House. We found cocaine for the first time out of everybody that's done cocaine in the White House, most likely. We, for the first time, have found cocaine in the White House in the West Wing. Okay. There is a kleptomaniac, non-binary, drag, whatever. He, she, they, them, her, whatever. Who is also a kleptomaniac who got caught stealing luggage at baggage claim. This is just this administration. We have had a picture leaked of a high-ranking military general, okay? A high-ranking military official in like a pup mask. You know what I'm saying? We're doing puppy play in his uniform. Just in this administration, just in the last 3 years, Has it even been 3 years yet, Doc? Damn, it has. I don't even, no, it hasn't even been 3 years because technically, right? Yeah, Biden got elected in November, but he's only been in the White House since January 20th, 2021. So it hasn't even been, you know what I mean? Like it hadn't even been, like, has it? Am I retarded? Yeah, it has been 2 years. It's been a little over 2 years now. So it hasn't been 3 years yet. Okay? And just in this time, all this has happened. This is broke back Bidenomics. That's what this is. That's what this is. It's insane. I'm sitting here, right, just minding my business, and I see back getting blown out, male back getting blown out. Okay, and that's something that I don't approve of. All right, say what you will, do what you want to do in your own free time. All right, but don't bring it across my timeline now. Don't bring it across my timeline. Once this kind of shit is brought across my timeline, that's now we have an issue, Biden. I've had an issue with the high gas prices, all right, with the high ass rent, with the extra ass taxes. Like I'm getting, like, my checks are just getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and it feels like I'm working longer and longer and longer hours. It's crazy. It's crazy. We're at a point where, like, just think about it like this. Think about it like this. We're at a point in American society where a young 20-something-year-old White House staffer can live stream getting his back blown out on the Senate floor. Okay? On the Senate floor in 2023. And we're not at the White House right now shutting shit down. Am I the only one who thinks that's crazy? Am I the only one who thinks that this is insane? Like, these men should be tried for treason or like, come on now. Come on now. How do you think this makes us look? Now, imagine if it was Biden, right, blowing somebody's back out, or if it was some other, you know what I'm saying, dude, blowing the back out of a very exquisitely fine female, right? Now, it would still be terrible, right? The optics would still be horrible. And whoever the person is that is responsible should be held accountable either way, right? But think about the look of the optics on the national stage. You got trans dudes coming out here flashing their titties on the White House lawn, and 20-something-year-olds getting their back blown out on the Senate floor. Dudes. Are you even a threat anymore, my nigga? Like, are we even a threat anymore? Is America even great anymore? Is it even, like, Russia and China, they have to be just sitting back, just have to be. Because I am. I'm laughing at it. So I know these motherfuckers are shitting their pants. Shit's insane, man. Like, this shit, you got to think about, you got to think about how insane it is that all this time, all right, we've had all this time, 200 years. We ain't never seen nobody getting their back blown out like this. Not at the White House, not at the Senate, not, you know what I'm saying? Not, you know, like we ain't ever, like we in 200 years, we ain't seen a photo. We ain't like we ain't in the on the Senate floor getting busy. We ain't seen it. We ain't seen it. This is some new shit. I don't even know what the consequences should be for some shit like this. What should the consequences be for some shit like this? This is just it's ultimate disrespect. It's ultimate disrespect, bro. I'm sitting here looking like, who took the picture? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's taking the video? Like, who's doing the blowing of the back? Because this is a staffer, right? Like, hold on. This ain't nothing but a staffer. Like, damn near a motherfucking, like, assistant. So somebody above him in the Democratic Party, okay? Somebody above him was like, it's all right, it's okay, we'll get away with it. I'm such and such, so we're good. Ain't nobody here right now. Like, this is some shit that you have to set up. You know what I mean? This ain't nothing, like, this is some shit that you have to set up. Man, I woke up disgusted this morning, my nigga. Woke up disgusted. Genuinely couldn't believe what I was seeing with my own two eyes, dog. And it's like, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't see nothing about this on the news, right? This is all over Twitter. Niggas talking about it all over Twitter, but this ain't nothing on this new, ain't nothing on the news, right? Ain't nothing on the news. Why would there be? Why would there be? Because who cares, right? Who cares? Niggas just get that, like, that's just what they do over at the Senate. You know what I'm saying? They just get their back blown out. That's what they do. That's what they do. Who cares? Stop complaining. Stop complaining. This shit's insane, y'all. Hold on, let me bring up the next. Oh, actually. So moving back to Vivek Ramaswamy, okay? Or should I do this one line? Nah, let's do this one now. So moving back to Vivek, because we got to, right? Because we got to. I'm personally, I am sticking my neck, vouching 100% for this motherfucker right here. We're gonna go ahead and watch the live stream of the town hall that he just did this week, and you're gonna see exactly, or maybe, maybe you can tell me if I'm, being led astray, but you're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about when I say, like, this is the kind of person that we need in the White House. We need this kind of CEO, because a couple of years ago, I remember it. You know what I'm saying? I think this is still probably when I was a black supremacist still. There was this liberal lady. I don't remember her name. It was a white lady. I know that for certain. It was a liberal white lady. She was saying, like, if we don't make an example out of Trump, she was speaking in the context of like getting him out of office, and like he was going through like the whole impeachment thing at the time. If we don't make an example out of Trump, then soon there will be a Trump 2.0. Somebody who is more well-spoken, somebody who is easier to connect with a wider audience, somebody who is like, that would be the next coming of Trump. Some like this new, more articulate version, more constitutionally aware version of Trump. That's basically what she was alluding to. And this is the man that she was talking about. I personally believe that. I personally believe this was the man that she was talking about, Vivek Ramaswamy. So let's go ahead and hop into it.
Good evening and welcome to Iowa, home of the first contest of the 2024 presidential race, now just 33 days away. We are live here at Grandview University in Des Moines, Iowa for CNN's Town Hall with Ohio businessman Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm Abby Phillip. Mr. Ramaswamy has made a name for himself in this field with his bold and sometimes controversial positions. Now he is prepared to face his first test before voters right here in Iowa, where he is competing with his rivals, including the current frontrunner, former President Donald Trump. Now, tonight's event is about the voters. Mr. Ramaswamy will have the opportunity to answer questions directly from Iowans on the issues that will help determine who wins the Republican nomination. And I will, of course, have some questions of my own. In the audience.
Here's the thing about Miss Hannah Phillips right here. If she would just shut the fuck up, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like if she would, you know what I mean? Like if she would just shut the fuck up. You get my drift. You get my drift.
Here are voters who say that they plan to participate in the Iowa Republican caucuses, both registered Republicans and also voters who plan to register as Republicans. To find tonight's questioners, we reached out to Republican-affiliated groups, as well as business groups, farm associations, parent groups, young professional organizations, religious groups, and conservative advocacy organizations. Guests of the Ramaswamy campaign and of Grandview University are here in the audience tonight, but they won't be asking questions. We have asked everyone here to be respectful to each other and to Mr. Ramaswamy so that the voters in this room and at home have a chance to hear from the candidate. Now, please welcome Vivek Ramaswamy. Good to see you.
Hey guys, good to see you guys.
I want to get right to the audience and bring in Simona Yentis from Clive, Iowa. She is self-employed and serves on the board of a Christian school in Des Moines. She's a Republican, but she says that she is still undecided. Simona?
Thank you. First of all, welcome to Iowa and Merry Christmas from Iowa.
Thank you.
And thank you for really adding some important conversations to the campaign. So some local commentators refer to you as maybe the younger Trump, not a politician, which would place you running in the same lane as President Trump for getting votes. So other than being younger, how would you differentiate yourself from President Trump?
So look, I appreciate that question, and I get it frequently these days on the campaign trail. It's not just being younger. I think we are reaching a new generation of voters in this country. We've been to most of the college campuses across this state, and I don't think that's something the Republican Party has done a great job of. There's a reason why these revolutions, these revivals are often led by the next generation. Thomas Jefferson was 33 years old when he wrote the Declaration of Independence. I'm an old man by comparison, actually, to Thomas Jefferson. And I will say this. It's going to take a president who, yes, comes from the outside, is a businessman. I believe it's going to take an outsider with sharp elbows at times to come take on the federal bureaucracy, to shut down agencies that need to be shut down, to implement that 75% headcount reduction I want to see in the federal bureaucracy. But it's also going to take a president who has a deep first personal understanding of the law and the Constitution. And those two things don't usually go together. I've actually hired many people in my career over the many companies that I've started. And those two skills, you might have the academic law professor types over here. You might have the business types that are going to get something done. That's what gives me my sense of purpose in this race. And I think I'm the only person in this race who brings both of those attributes, an understanding and a commitment to the Constitution, but combine that with being an outsider who can actually get things done. And I think that's going to take the combination that actually takes to revive this economy and revive our constitutional republic.
And if I may, Mr. Ramaswamy, Simona's question was about how you would be.
See, you see what I mean when I say, if she would just, shut the fuck up, she'd probably, you know what I mean? Like, because he actually put in quite a few points where he differentiated himself from Trump. Not only is the younger reaching the next generation, but he also went to policy, talking about exactly how he was going to reduce the headcount of the deep state, exactly how he was going, like he actually went into detail policy, which actually differentiates from everything that Trump did in his first term, right? So here she is trying to start some shit, talking about you didn't answer the question. So here we go.
Different from
Yes.
Donald Trump. So how specifically would you differentiate yourself from Trump?
Well, look, I think some are some policy areas. I mean, take the Iowa carbon capture pipeline, the use of eminent domain right here. It doesn't affect many in the national audience, but it affects people in this room. I'm seeing many heads nodding. You're familiar with this issue. They're using eminent domain to seize farmland, to build.
And this is why I think he's going to win Iowa. This one issue right here, eminent domain, this one issue that nobody else is talking about is the reason why I think that Vivek will win Iowa. Because, well, I'll let him explain.
Build a carbon capture pipeline using federal subsidies. I'm the only candidate in this field who has taken a clear stand in being against those kinds of policies, the unconstitutional use of eminent domain. So we can go into other specific examples, but it comes down to a commitment to the Constitution, a deep understanding of the Constitution, swearing an oath to the Constitution and keeping it, and combining that with being an outsider, and yes, reaching and inspiring the next generation of Americans. I think I'm the best person in this race to do those things, and that's why I'm in it.
Let's bring in now Jacqueline Rickinaw. She's a healthcare IT manager from West Des Moines. She's a Republican who says that she's undecided. Jacqueline?
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm going to switch it up. With the number of illegals, illegal aliens crossing the border daily and being bused to cities across the United States, how do you plan to secure our border and remove illegals from the U.S.?
And that second part is the harder part. I'm glad you asked it. Let me start with the first part of how we'll just secure the border. These are basic things we can do. The country that put a man on the moon can get this done. It's just a question of political will. So one thing I've said is we will use our own military to secure our own border. Right now, we can use it to secure somebody else's border. Let's use it to secure our own southern border and our northern border too. Don't forget about that. Our northern border has seen more illegal crossings this past year than the last 12 years combined. That's where this front is going. And I've visited both in the last several months. If we're able to do that, use our military, complete the border wall, stop federal aid to any Central American country until they have secured their own borders for every country between Venezuela and Mexico, then I want to implement, I would say, the best border policies of all, which is ending the illegal incentives to be here. End birthright citizenship for the kids of illegal migrants to whom the 14th Amendment does not apply. End federal funding to sanctuary cities using our own taxpayer money to pay effectively for breaking the rule of law.
Oh, shit.
And then there's the hard question. I don't want to leave you hanging on that one because many people skip this one, but this one's the hard one. I do believe that anybody who's in this country illegally needs to be returned to their country of origin. Not because they're all bad people. In fact, many of them are good people. Many of them, if we're being honest, if we were in their shoes and there's a president of the United States who's been giving them a wink and a nod to come on over, if we were in a tough spot, maybe we would have done the same thing. So this is not a value judgment about those people. It's a value judgment about this country. We're founded on the rule of law. And as a father of 2 sons in the White House, I can't look them in the eye and tell them they have to follow the rules when our own government isn't following its own rules. So then there's the question of how, and this is the part many Republicans skip. There's only 6,000 or so ICE agents on the front line. How could they possibly tackle millions of illegal migrants who are in this country illegally? Here's the answer. There's a provision in the law. We don't need new laws. The existing law, it's called 287G. It allows you to actually serve an ICE agent to allow local law enforcement across this country to serve their warrants. That's 1 million law enforcement officers. We can then get that done. But again, all it takes is a president with the spine. And if I swear an oath to the Constitution, I intend to keep it. That's how I'm going to lead this country. And I think that's how we're going to solve not only the border crisis, but the crisis of the abandonment of the rule of law in this country. That's how I expect to lead.
You just said that.
See, that's the key difference that I like between Vivek and Trump is Trump, the way that he will break things down to you, he'll break things down to you in a way that'll make you think about it, right? He'll break it down to you and he'll make you think about it. Trump is not like, as far as I know, as far as I've seen, solutions are not necessarily Trump's strong suit. Okay, especially when it comes to like constitutional solutions, right? Solutions and explaining solutions, explaining constitutional solutions to average people is something that I don't think that Donald Trump does, effectively. I think that he is a great showman, right? He's a great showman. He's very funny. He's still an extremely smart guy, right? But the way that he engages the crowd is more, you know what I mean? Like, because Trump has that aura about him. You know what I mean? Trump walks in the room and he has that aura. He's Trump. You know what I mean? He's straightforward. You know what I mean? He has this insane business IQ. He doesn't take shit from anybody. Like that's the kind of aura that he has. Vivek has more of a like a still doesn't take shit, but also more of a almost more compassionate is weird. You know what I'm saying? Like more generous, more thoughtful, I would say, right? Because of the way that he breaks down these different and complex, well, it sounds complex a lot of times, but the way that he breaks it down, it just makes it seem more, so much simpler, right? And that's what I like about Vivek. I like that he actually gives those constitutional solutions. I can go and hit this law right here, you know what I'm saying, in the Constitution, or hit this law right here, and boom, that solves this.
That you would end birthright citizenship
for the kids of illegal
migrants,
yes,
immigrants. There are currently millions of such people, children, some of them adults. Would you retroactively strip them?
Great question, Abby. So I'm glad you asked that. Prospectively. So January 20th, 2025 forward, there is a concept in the law known as a reliance interest. If you've relied on the government, we're not going to be able to retroactively date that. But from January 20th, 2025 going forward, if I'm the president, if you're born in this country as the kid of an illegal immigrant, you will not enjoy birthright citizenship. And that's what the 14th Amendment says. It says it only applies subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That's in the opening section of the 14th Amendment when it talks about birthright citizenship. So in the same way, and I want people to understand,
it's going to be like that's going to be a tough one to get over with the Democratic base, I would say. But I think when you break it down like this, like there's always going to be a lower bottom rung in America, in capitalism. That's just how it's going to be. And usually that would be young people, right? Unskilled people, all right? And in some societies, slave laborers, right? Commoners, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. people that work for pennies on the dollar. There's always going to be these people. All right. Do you want it to be the immigrants coming over, possibly dying, possibly, you know what I'm saying, just going through so much treacherous shit? These people get raped, graped, they get assaulted, kidnapped, all kinds of different things, murdered, all that along this dangerous road that they walk to actually get here. There's so many different horrors, and we've all seen the snuff films, right? We've all seen the videos of cartel members just whacking little girls, like, for no, well, yeah, I won't say for no reason. What they have their reasons or whatever, but like doing their thing, right? And these are little girls like that I'm talking about, like, and that's where I have an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're killing little girls, they're kidnapping little girls, they're, you know, trafficking these little girls. And where do you think who do you think the market is? Where do you think that market is? Like, who's rich enough to buy humans, right? Like, think about that. Like, who's rich enough, who has the clearance, the ability to have that kind of privacy to be able to purchase children and purchase people, right? Like, there's going to be that class of on the bottom rung. I would rather that class be a legal, non-trafficked, illegal immigrant, non-freaking slave labor. Like, I would like that not to be what the bottom rung is. I would just like it to be commoners. I would like it to be unskilled commoners, you know, teenagers, fucking whoever, old, you know, more geriatric people. Like, this should be who is not necessarily, you know, stuck there, but like, if anybody is there, it should be these kinds of folks, right, at the bottom, and then having the ability through capitalism to move up, because you can't do that anywhere else on the planet. Can't move up, you know, and become rich and become famous anywhere else on the planet like you can here in America. Okay, there's nowhere else that you can make it in America, make it the way that you can make it in America. Nowhere else. Okay, they lie to you. They lie. Okay, they fucking lie. So there's always going to be that class. I just wouldn't. I don't want it to be immigrants. I don't want it to be, or it could be immigrants, but can they not be illegal? Can they not have? Do they have to go through all that treacherous bullshit that they have to go through in that long journey? I don't believe so. And I think that incentivizing that is wrong. I think it's morally wrong. I don't think it's justified. I believe that we can replace the population through other incentives, like having incentives for, you know, starting families and things like that, and being married and shit like that. Like, those would be, you know, good incentives, you know, like that the American government could actually partake in. Not incentivizing people to travel thousands of miles on foot and in the back of trucks and fucking fighting cartels and shit just to get here, just so they can get sent back. Okay, like, you can always get sent back. Like, that's the crazy part. And he's even saying, like, he wouldn't do it retroactively. You know, like, he would do it like, okay, starting from January 20th, what he said, 2025, that is when birthright citizenship would end. Like, nobody else further coming into it with trying to have a baby in there, you know, in America further illegally. Those people are no longer incentivized to come in. You can no longer have an anchor baby here. That's a good thing. It's a good thing for everybody, because now the lower class, the, you know, poor, you know, working class is not being undercut by this slave labor that's coming from immigrants. And, you know, it's also coming from prisoners too. But, you know, because they also make pennies on the dollar. So it's either going to be them or it's going to be the immigrants. Right? Who do you want?
Understand this, because some people call this a controversial view. I don't think it needs to be. The kid of a Mexican diplomat who's here legally and he's born in the United States, that person doesn't enjoy birthright citizenship. Nobody contests that. Well, if the kid of a Mexican diplomat who's here legally does not enjoy birthright citizenship, neither does or should the kid of a Mexican or Venezuelan migrant who's here illegally. And there's been case law on this at the appellate court level. The one case that's been ruled agrees with me on this. I believe the current Supreme Court agrees with me 6-3 on this. All we need is a president with a spine who, I go back to that first question, Abby, understands the Constitution. If I'm going to swear an oath to the Constitution, I better darn well have read it.
You suggested, though, the courts would have to weigh in on this. Would you agree with that?
I expect that this will go to the Supreme Court, and I expect the current Supreme Court will agree 6-3 with me on this based on my study of the court.
All right, let's turn now to Mike McCoy. He's an insurance company CEO from West Des Moines and a trustee here at Grandview. He's a Republican who says that he's deciding between you and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Mike?
Thank you. So what makes you think that Putin would be responsive to your Ukraine solution?
And before you jump in, Mr. Ramaswamy, I just want to ask you to remind the audience here what the solution is that he is referring to.
That's fair enough. So I've proposed, and thank you for coming prepared. I appreciate that. I've proposed a reasonable end to the Ukraine war. I don't think this war is advancing our interests. I think we're spending $200 billion of our taxpayer money that would be better used to defend our own border. But even worse, I believe it's increasing the risk of World War III because it's driving Russia further into China's hands. So what I've proposed is a reasonable deal that would allow Ukraine to come out with its sovereignty intact. Yes, with some territorial concessions of the Russian-speaking regions in eastern Ukraine, and a hard commitment that NATO will not admit Ukraine to NATO, but only if Putin exits his military alliance with China. That Russia-China alliance is the top threat that we face today. So do I trust Vladimir Putin? Of course not. Is Putin a great craven dictator? Absolutely he is. But we will trust him to follow his self-interest, just as he will trust us to follow ours. And because you asked a good question, I'm going to go into this detail. Nixon did this in 1972. When he pulled Mao Zedong out of the USSR, that was a China-Russia alliance back then. Did we trust Mao? Of course we didn't. But there were kinks in that armor back then. There are kinks in that armor today in the Russia-China relationship. Look, when Putin and Xi Jinping met, Putin sends then weapons to India and Vietnam. That's sending a signal to China. China doesn't appreciate that. China wants to complete a railroad in northeast China to the ocean. Russia's not letting them. So if we look closely, there are kinks in that armor. But it's going to take a visionary leader who's going to say, we're going to use the Ukraine war as an opportunity to say to Russia, you know what, we'll reopen some economic relations with Russia, as Nixon did with Mao.
Ask Trump. So, what are you going to do about the Ukraine-Russia war? Trump's answer. I'm going to end it on day one. How will you do that? I'm going to end it on day one. I'm going to get them in it. I'm going to end it on day one. How will you do it? I'm going to end it on day one. Like, what are we really talking about here? This is a huge difference that I'm seeing here. You know what I'm saying?
But we're going to require no more joint military exercises, no more military sales between Russia and China. Weaken that alliance.
I'll be back.
That's the single most important thing the next president can do to reduce the risk of World War III. And I want you to understand, I'm the only presidential candidate really talking about that Russia-China alliance. Yet that is the single greatest threat we face to the United States of America today. And I do think it's going to take a leader coming from the outside of the existing foreign policy establishment. I'll remind you, the one that got us into the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, where thousands of our sons and daughters went to go die, adding $7 trillion to our national debt 20 years later, with the Taliban still in charge in Afghanistan and Iraq still a broken country. If that isn't a sign that we need fresh blood in our foreign policy establishment, I don't know what is. And so I think it's going to take new leadership, and that's the deal that I would do. Thank you
Staying on this Ukraine topic, I want to follow up. You want to suspend support for Ukraine in this war and get the United States out of that conflict.
As part of this deal that I've laid out.
If Putin doesn't take you up on that deal, would you allow Putin to use force to take all of Ukraine if he wanted to.
So I think the deal we're going to do now is actually going to allow Ukraine to come out with its sovereignty intact, which is not even the path that Ukraine is on.
But if Putin does not take you up on your deal, which he may not.
Look, I'm convinced on my ability to negotiate.
If he decided to use force to march into Kyiv, take all of Ukraine, would you, as president of the United States, allow that to happen?
So, Abby, that I think is a fictitious scenario for a lot of reasons. Part of the reason Putin's been able to seize eastern Ukraine is they have not had the same level of resistance as the rest of Ukraine.
How is it a fictitious scenario when
because he literally has tried to do it and has failed to do it?
So what I would say, he tried to do it, I think, is the point I'm trying to make.
And he failed to do it because I think that it's a fair question.
He failed to do it because the United States backed Ukraine.
But he failed to do it for a deeper reason. And now this gets into some details in the Ukraine war, but if you want to go there, I think we should go there. Which is that the eastern regions of Ukraine, these are Russian-speaking regions, where most of the people who live there don't even view themselves really as part of Ukraine. They have not been represented in the Ukrainian parliament for the better part of the last decade, almost the entire last decade. So there was no counterinsurgency or resistance. That's why Putin was successful in eastern Ukraine, but not the rest. So again, I come back to principles. There are a lot of scenarios we can't map out in advance, but the basic principles are this. Russia's in a military alliance with China. I'm going to play hardball and require that Russia weaken or exit its military alliance with China. But we also have to stand by a few things commitments we've made, that NATO should not actually admit Ukraine to NATO. We made that commitment. Gorbachev was made to Gorbachev by James Baker in 1990. We haven't kept that commitment. We should keep that commitment too. And I think that level of diplomacy avoids us using. I mean, let's look at the alternative now, Abby. We're talking about sending another $61 billion to Ukraine. It is unclear to me or anybody else what the next $100 billion is going to do that the first $100 billion didn't accomplish. And so I don't think throwing bad money after bad is going to be the solution here. I do think diplomacy is the solution, but it's going to take somebody who is committed to advancing U.S. interests to get this done. So my foreign policy is avoid World War III, declare independence from China, and then focus on securing our own homeland, which we're not talking about.
I want to get back now to our audience member. We have a question now from Nicole Ryback. She's from Des Moines and is a college admissions counselor. She says that she's currently registered as a Democrat, but now intends to switch parties and is planning to participate in the Republican caucuses and register as a Republican. She's undecided on which candidate to support. Nicole?
Thank you and welcome. I'm going to throw it back to the United States and talk a little bit about how you feel about the growing differential between the top 1% and the middle class in the U.S. and how you plan on addressing it in your presidency.
Yeah, great question. And to tell you the truth, I don't feel great about it. A lot of this is the product of the Federal Reserve, actually. It seems like a technical subject a lot of people don't like to talk about. I think this is fundamental. So the Federal Reserve has, since the late 90s, taken on the role of playing effectively God for the financial system. For a lot of that period, raining money from on high like manna from heaven. We've been skiing on artificial snow, and it's really flowed down through the top 1%. A friend of mine actually has a funny expression, but I'll share it with you. He says, if you're a nurse, you'll go home with some extra latex gloves. If you're a teacher, you might go home with some extra pencils. If you're a banker, you go home with a few extra dollars. And that's the way it's worked through the Federal Reserve System. Trickle-down economics, I believe, does work when it's driven by gains in the real economy, but it doesn't work when it's created by artificial paper wealth generated by Fed Reserve policies. So I'd put the Fed back in its place. The reason real wage growth has not gone up for the bottom 99% adjusted for inflation, it's been flat. The reason why is the Federal Reserve has treated wage growth as though it's a leading indicator of inflation and tried to tamp it down like a game of whack-a-mole for the last 25 years. So you get what you pay for. My view is I'll put the Fed back in its place. A single mandate for the U.S. Fed. What is that? Dollar stability. Peg the dollar to commodities. That ties the hands of our government. That's a good thing. We've had our greatest GDP growth in this country before we left the gold standard. I think that's telling. So when the dollar is stable, that's how you actually help the bottom 99% in this country. That's how you see real wage growth. And I want people to understand, you hear a lot of tales, mythology, I would say, about the current economy. Let's make it simple. What's going on? Prices are going up. Interest rates, including mortgage rates to buy your home, are going up. But wages have remained flat. And so I'm not going to be the person who comes in here and tells you. And some people say, am I too pessimistic at times? I'm a realist. I'm not going to tell you the American dream is alive and well right now. It is not. it's alive and hanging on for life support. But I believe it can be. And I do think it's going to take now more than ever a CEO in the White House, somebody with fresh legs, somebody I believe from the next generation to look at this differently, apply some basic economic common sense, and that starts with reform of the Federal Reserve. So thank you for that question. Welcome to the Republican side.
Let me ask you, Mr. Ramaswamy.
And I got to add this in. As my, campaign venture, because, I'm going to be running for president sometime in the late 2030s or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Maybe early 2040s. We'll see. And we'll see what happens by then. But another thing that we have to do for the lower class, and this is another thing that de-incentivizes illegal immigration, is getting rid of the fucking minimum wage. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. It is an artificial glass ceiling that is preventing poor and working class people who want to start businesses from hiring employees. Okay. They might need to hire unskilled workers, but in order to hire an unskilled worker, you have to have $12,000 cash on hand each year, so that way you can pay these motherfuckers. And that's depending on where you are for minimum wage, right? That's just the low end. The high end is fucking what, $24,000 or something like that you have to pay for the highest minimum wage out here per year. And then you got to pay taxes on that. You got all kinds of taxes. You got all kinds of bullshit. Just get rid of it. Get rid of the minimum wage. Allow people to negotiate the actual price that they want. Because take, for example, I work in the apartment industry, right? So take, for example, somebody like me. I'm a maintenance guy. If let's say I wanted to go somewhere and I had no experience, I just wanted to learn, but you know what I mean? But I had no experience. I had no nothing. I could potentially go into a place and negotiate myself a place to live. You know what I'm saying? And enough money in order to feed myself and, you know what I'm saying, make, and to be able to put some away so that way I can save up. I could negotiate that fairly easy instead of what we have now, which is, you have to, since I have to make this exact amount of money, those kinds of benefits would be a detriment to any business, right? That kind of benefit would be a detriment to any business. You can't just give away a home, because that's how much, about $16,000 to $32,000 a year for rent. So if you're paying that for rent, then no, like that's a big investment that we're making in you, especially if you're only making what, 30, 40,000 a year starting on, right? It's not a good investment. It's not a good investment. So that's a big thing. And then getting rid of all the regulations, all the fees, like or at least cutting these motherfuckers. Like, in order to start a marijuana business out here in Colorado, for example, you have to get all the licensing, all the fees, and everything coming together. You're going to be out of pocket about $10 million at the end of the day, just to open up a damn dispensary out here, just to be able to grow and or open up a dispensary and be able to sell your weed. It's actually insane. So who do you think that benefits? Do you think that benefits us? Do you think that benefits people that smoke weed? Do you think that benefits anybody? Do you think that who's this supposed to benefit? That it costs $10 million in order to open up a franchise out here to sell some weed. Who's that supposed to benefit? Just the richest of the rich. That's it. So who else can afford $10 million just offhand, just on hand for an investment? that may or may not work out, because that's what an investment is. It's risk. Say what you will, I'm the best damn blunt roller this side of the Mississippi. I tell you what. Shit, and the other side of the Mississippi.
2 years ago, you floated the idea to dramatically increase the
I roll a blunt better than them bitches in Havana.
Inheritance tax up to 59%. You said then, we shouldn't allow people to become billionaires just by having rich parents. Would you push for that as president?
That's not part of my policy platform as president. And one of the things people should know about me is that I'm not a standard candidate. I've written 3 books in the last 2 years. They're not candidate books. I said that I brought up Thomas Jefferson earlier. I admire him because he was one of the few truly intellectual presidents we've had. And so I like to explore ideas. One of the things an 11th grade English teacher, Mrs. Smith, taught me is that you don't really understand what you think unless you can offer the best statement of an alternative view. And so that's what I did in my books. I wrote my book, first book was Woke Inc. And I often joke, I agree with about 95% of what's in there. And so my view is this. What we really need is a 12% flat tax across the board. Ordinary income, capital gain, corporate, flatten it all out. And then here's how we get the money back for the system. End the cronyist deductions. The deductions and the loopholes and the rebates that a lot of corporations, a lot of special interests have lobbied in. It's about $700 billion a year, just the tax compliance costs, just the out-of-pocket costs, not even counting the time you spend preparing your taxes. Give that back to the people. That's how we actually restore, again, a big part of our economy, grow our economy. That's the way I would do it.
You are, it's probably no surprise to folks here, you're very wealthy. You've made a lot of money in your life. Do you
Yes, I am rich. Yes.
want your wealth? Do you believe it should pass down to your children?
So it's an important question, actually. And I want to speak on behalf of both my wife and I. My wife, Apurva, she wanted to be here today. She's not here because she was treating cancer survivors at Ohio State's hospital. That's where she's kept her full-time job while we're going through this. And, you know, in many cases, our healthcare system, or I should call it our sick care system, is so broken that she doesn't even get paid for many of the procedures she does to improve patients' lives. That works for us because we are in the position that we're in. But I'll tell you this, we're spending immense amounts of our family's fortune on this campaign. We didn't inherit our wealth, but that's the inheritance we actually care about giving our kids. It's not a bunch of green pieces of paper. It is the country that allowed us to live the American dream that each of us did. My parents came to this country 40 years ago with no money. And yes, in a single generation, I have gone on to found multiple multi-billion-dollar companies. Did it while marrying Apurva, who lived her American dream, raising our 2 sons, following our faith in God. That is the American dream. That's the inheritance we care to give our kids. And even if we're just speaking really honestly, some people hit me for this, but I stand by it, actually. I've gone to college with me. When I went to Harvard, I mean, my dad was working at GE. He faced down layoffs under Jack Welch's tenure. We had a solidly middle-class upbringing with some ups and downs along the way. I went to school with kids who were the kids of billionaires. That was new to me. I'd never encountered that in my life until I got to Harvard College. And I'll tell you something, Abby, it's interesting. Many of them weren't happier for it. To the contrary, I was actually able to follow my hunger and my passion and my ambition, maybe even more freely than many of my other fellow peers. I'm grateful to other peers who may not have had access to basic education, but there are also those who don't have basic access to having their own ability to live the American dream because they're encumbered by that inheritance as well. So I'm not one of these guys who fetishizes lavishing children with a bunch of wealth. I want to give them the country that allows them to live the American dream through meritocracy that allowed Apurva and I to succeed as well.
I want to go back to the audience. We have here Riley Miller. He's a law student at Drake University and a clerk in the Marion County Attorney's Office. He's a Republican who is currently undecided. Riley?
Thank you. On the debate stage, you have somewhat abandoned the tact and diplomacy that I would look for in a president. I'm all for keeping it real and dogging the establishment, but there's a gravitas and that I look for in those who represent our country.
God bless this American brother. You sound like a bitch right now, nigga. You sound like a real biznayitch right now, my nigga. I ain't even gonna cap to you. I look, man. There's a certain amount of tact and gravitas that I look for in my leaders, and I'm all for dogging on them, and getting in there, but there's a certain amount of tact. There's a demeanor. Okay, there's a demeanor that I'm looking for. All right, and although I know that you have it, for some reason, I've seen you getting your ass whooped over here on the media, but for some reason you just haven't stayed, docile. What for?
How do you see the balance between being authentic and maintaining that presidential demeanor?
I appreciate the question. I think it's very candid. This is what I love about Iowa. I get tougher questions from you guys than I do from the media. That's good. It's why we're here. So I appreciate that. Look, here's the standard I use for holding myself to or holding any president to. I want us to be able to look our kids in the eye and tell them that I want you to grow up and be like him. It's been a long time since we've held our presidents to that standard. That's the standard I want you to hold me to. That's a high standard. Now, I think about that in judging the way that I comport myself in different areas. Am I going to tell my kids to go to school and be a bully? No, I'm not. But I'm going to tell them if somebody bullies you or hits you, you're going to hit them back 10 times harder. And that's the way I'm going to lead this country. You have to be, as we say in our family, you have to be strong enough to protect your kindness. So if you watch those debates carefully, I don't engage in 4-letter words. I mean, there are other candidates who have called me dumb, scum, and worse that I'm not going to repeat here. I didn't go after them, but if they're going to come after me, I'm not going to be a president, whether it's Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin or anybody else who's going to roll over. When I'm leading the United States, the same rule applies. If you hit us, we hit you back 10 times harder. But it's not for the sake of being a bully. It's for protecting our inner kindness too. And I think it's important that we have a president.
I appreciate you, South
that has both of those attributes.
South
I've done more podcasts probably than most presidential candidates in history combined. Mostly because podcasts.
I appreciate you for joining.
But I will tell you, that's a different setting. And so I think it's the book of Ecclesiastes that teaches, and my faith teaches me the same thing. There's a time and place for everything. There's a time and place for fortitude. There's a time and place for justice. There's a time and place for mercy. And I think it's going to take all of those attributes, every last ounce of each of those attributes, to stand for this country, to reunite this country and revive who we are. You don't want a wilting flower in the White House, but you also want somebody who understands what we are fighting for. That's the standard I want you to hold us to. We will aspire to hold ourselves to. And I think that sometimes being a parent is what gives me my moral clarity. And I hope through the rest of this campaign, we're just getting warmed up. I hope to be able to earn your trust that, yes, I do have what it takes to tell you the truth. I'm not going to hide the truth from you. If you want someone who's going to speak truth to power, vote for somebody who's going to speak the truth to you, to the Republican Party. Do it unvarnished, without sugarcoating. And I don't do much sugarcoating. But also somebody who, as you, I believe, want, can stand for the ideals that would make our founding fathers proud and would make our children proud as well.
Speaking of those debates, let me ask you about something that you said at the debate last week. You used the phrase inside job to describe what happened on January 6th. The next day, Capitol rioter Alan Hostetter highlighted your comments at his sentencing. He is going to prison for 11 years. Hostetter threatened members of Congress. He brought a hatchet, knives, pepper spray, stun batons, tactical gear to the U.S. Capitol. Are you concerned that a convicted felon like that is now promoting your comments in court?
So here's my concern, Abby. And I want to tell you guys where I'm at.
All that does is give my nigga street cred. He in there like, shit, Vivek fighting for your boy. He in prison, he in jail right now. Vivek fighting for you. He in jail right. Nigga, Vivek. Nigga, Vivek fighting for you. Fighting for your boy, nigga. Fighting for my freedom, nigga. What?
If you had told me, it's close to 3 years ago that January 6, 2021 happened. If you had told me 3 years ago, back when I was a biotech CEO, not steeped in this world, I was just consuming passive media, but was focused on my world of developing medicines. If you had told me that January 6 was in any way an inside job, the subject of government entrapment, I would have told you that was crazy talk. Fringe conspiracy theory nonsense. I can tell you now, having gone somewhat deep in this, it's not. I mean, the reality is this. We do have a government, first of all, we have to acknowledge, that has lied to us systematically over the last several years about the origin of COVID-19, about the Hunter Biden laptop that we were told was false by 51 CIA experts and otherwise before we now know that it was true. You can go straight down the list, the Trump-Russia disinformation collusion hoax, all of it. Now we come to January 6th. The reality is we know that there were federal law enforcement agents in that field. We don't know how many. I think it's shameful. And if I may finish just answering,
well, let me
this
just,
is really important.
I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt you here because
I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt you here because I got this earpiece in here and they're telling me, they're screaming at me right now to tell you to shut the fuck up. Shut that Indian dude up right now.
Because I know this establishment doesn't approve of this message. I know
there were federal
agents. We should be able to talk about this.
You're saying that there were federal agents.
This is important to talk about.
You are saying there were federal agents in the crowd on January 6th.
Yep.
There is no evidence that there were federal agents in the crowd on January 6th.
So why, before Congress, when pressed on what the number was, they didn't say there were none? They just couldn't say how many there were.
So you're saying that that you have not seen any evidence.
So
that
we've
there
seen
were,
multiple.
and so
we've seen multiple informants suggesting that there were. We know people were FBI informants who were asked.
Is there any evidence?
May I just finish this and you can come back to question?
Let me clarify.
I know it's very uncomfortable.
I'm going to clarify my question.
I know this is an uncomfortable issue for many people, but we have to do the truth.
I'm going to clarify my question because I want to make sure that you understand what I'm asking.
I understand this deeply. And I told you, I was with you 3 years ago. I'm not there now.
Where is the evidence?
Yes.
Where is the evidence that the government had a plot, an inside job?
But hold on. Where are we at? We're at 2818. We're marked at 2818. Hold up. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? We'll come back. Hold on. We're coming right back. Where's the proof? Oh, hold up. That's the wrong one. Hold on. That's the wrong one. She's asking where's the proof. I'm gonna show y'all where. This is just a little something that I found while I was doing my own little private research. Okay, we're gonna go through it just real fast. Let me find it. There it is. And I just posted this on my Twitter. All right. Oh, my X, excuse me. My X page. Go ahead and follow me at Real Culture Show. All right. So what we have here. All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen. What we have here. All right. Oh, wrong one. Sharing the wrong screen. Hold on. Come on. Hold on, let me get you real quick. Boom. What we have here is the United States Capitol Police timeline of events. All right. For January 6th, 2021 attack. All right. It says this document memorializes critical events leading up to and during the January 6th, 2021 attack at the U.S. Capitol, and the timeline is as follows. Now, what I want you guys, before we hop back into the video, because I'm going to be doing we'll probably hop into a longer breakdown of this whole timeline eventually, right? But here it says Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. All right. Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. The United States Capitol Police learns that different groups of protesters are organizing demonstrations on U.S. Capitol grounds related to the January 6th joint session to certify the electoral vote count. Then a special event assessment was issued for January 6, 2021 demonstrations. Initial assessment indicates two groups of demonstrators called Donald, You're Fired, an anti-Trump group, and a group called Patriots United March, a pro-Trump group. Initial assessments find no information regarding specific disruptions or civil acts of disobedience targeting this function. All right. Now, I say all that to say this, right? I say all that to say this. They knew about January 6th potentially getting ready to occur for almost a full month before it happened. And you're telling me that they got overwhelmed? What was this that this was just out of the blue? I have the court testimonies from the January 6th witnesses, from the lady that started the march for Trump. I have the witness testimony from her. All right. And it states that, bro, like they started, like they organized that shit and got the group up and all that shit. What was it? On December 14th. So 2 days after that, FBI already caught wind. Capitol Police already caught wind that, all right, there's something's going to happen on January 6th. And you're telling me that they got overwhelmed? You're telling me that they didn't prepare even though they knew? For almost 3 weeks for 3 weeks plus in advance, right? But we'll go ahead, come back, and we'll listen to Vivek's response. Because I like how he breaks it down. Because I'm gonna break it down too. I promise you, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna take them panties off and kiss her softly. Yeah. All right. All right. All right, let's get it. Don't do me like this. When your Wi-Fi is garbage, nigga, your Wi-Fi is trash. Afuera. So it's just this one. Come right back to it real quick. Hold up real quick. Hold up. Let me figure this out real quick. Thank you for everybody that's joining in. I appreciate you, Mav, joining in. Thank you, everybody that's pulling up. Really a little bit of technical difficulties, you feel me? I'm gonna figure it out though. I can remember the back of my mind is like Mary Jane came at the right time. I'm going around, take a look at the sky, and you feel like a nigga with a stay high. When you see me in the eye of that life.
I understand this deeply. And I told you, I was with you 3 years ago. I'm not there now.
Where is the evidence?
Yes.
Where is the evidence that the government had a plot,
so let's do this.
An inside job?
But no, I'm going to tell you what an inside job is. I'm not
violence on January 6th.
I'm not going to let you put words in my mouth. I'm going to put my words in my mouth. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that.
Where is the evidence that the government was involved in planning or executing January 6th?
So I'm going to give you hard facts. And if I may, Abby, I know this is going to be a little uncomfortable, but we're going to go through this, and you can push back on it after that. And you can push back on that. And let's do this fairly. Why did they suppress footage of now what's been released, 200 hours of footage of shooting rubber bullets into that crowd, shooting tear gas into that crowd. You didn't see that before. You saw what the response was to that. Now you see footage coming out of actually rolling out the red carpet for Capitol Police allowing
Ramaswamy,
people in.
Again,
right?
They are in her ear right now.
I mean, that video evidence should have been released before, Abby.
Mr. Ramaswamy, the vast majority of the footage shows police officers being overrun
and I want to talk about one more
by
case.
violent
This is really important.
riders. That's
I'm going to give you some hard facts.
Of it shows.
So here's what entrapment
You can't
is.
cherry pick.
I'm not cherry picking.
You can't cherry pick.
I'm not cherry picking.
Examples.
She's telling this man that she can't cherry pick, or that he can't cherry pick examples, while she's cherry picking 12 hours of footage versus the full 200 hours of footage. 200. There's 200 hours of footage, and they only released about 12 hours in the beginning. Sounds like shit's on the up and up to me.
To the contrary. To the contrary, you know who cherry picked? You know who cherry picked? The government.
That is what happened.
The government cherry picked 12 hours of footage when there was 200 hours of footage. So cherry picking was the government, not me. Release the whole thing. And let me just finish one thing too, because this is super important as a topic.
So
I think this is a civil libertarian issue of our time. Gretchen Whitmer's kidnapping. I want to be really clear on this, because it's the same issue in the same FBI, same even part of the FBI. 3 people who were in an alleged plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer were acquitted at the end of trial because it was entrapment. That is, government agents put them up to do something they otherwise wouldn't have done. They gave them credit cards with spending limits of up to $5,000, encouraged them to buy munitions, plan something they weren't otherwise willing to plan. So much so, and I want people at home to know this, especially.
I have to say this. I have to put this out there in the ether, in the universe, all right? Young Pharaoh was the first one to uncover this shit, all right? Young Pharaoh was the first one. I don't want no... Back when this shit was first popping off in 2021, Young Pharaoh was the first one to bring up the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping, and he was the first one to say that it was a hoax. He was the first one. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear no bullshit. I don't want to... Okay? We have been on this train since 2021. Niggas are just starting to come around. I appreciate it, right? I appreciate it, right? But I had to put that out there because I have to give Young Pharaoh his flowers, because I feel like he doesn't get them enough. There's a whole lot of niggas out here profiting off of what my nigga, you know what I'm saying? Profiting off of his motherfucking work, off of all of his work, and not giving him no motherfucking credit. So shout out to Young motherfucking Pharaoh. All right.
Especially CNN viewers to know this, is that one of the jurors went to those defendants and apologized afterwards, gave him a hug, apologized, seeing what the government had put a poor guy up to, who had to go to some Mexican restaurant across the street to get hot water. These people were exploited with credit cards up to $5,000, FBI agents putting them up to a kidnapping plot that we were told was true but was entrapment. Same thing with the Capitol Police, people letting them in freely. Many of those people then being charged.
Look,
the government cannot put you up to do something and then charge you for it. That's wrong.
I don't want to have
to the left, to the right.
I don't want to have to interrupt you. I really don't. But I don't want you to mislead the audience here or at home.
I think they've been.
Bro. When I first watched this, bro, and I heard her say that shit, I almost threw my phone. I literally almost threw my phone, dog. I was like, you see why I said in the beginning, like, if she would just shut the fuck up, right? Just, I mean, look at her. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, if she would just shut the fuck up, hey, you don't have to agree with this part of the, but this is a message specifically sponsored by Nate the Great. All right.
Misled by the mainstream media.
14 people.
The mainstream media has misled them.
14 people were charged in that plot. A majority of them were convicted.
I said 3 of them were acquitted on grounds of entrapment. That's a fact. Dispute me. Was I wrong about that?
What folks need to understand.
Was I wrong about what I said?
What
I
folks
was not.
need to understand
3 people were acquitted on grounds of entrapment.
9 were
a juror apologized.
9 were convicted.
Yeah, but the 3 who were put up should have never got to that stage of a trial.
The January 6th
That's unacceptable in the United States.
Look, I just want people to understand. 3 people were acquitted.
Shorty having a malfunction. Shorty is malfunctioning in real time. All right, in real time.
9 people were convicted
I
in
heard
that
you, Abby.
plot. But let me get back to our audience here. And let's bring in Joe Frumalt. He's from Des Moines. He's a student at Drake, and he's a Republican who says that he supports whoever wins the nomination. Joe.
Man, thank you. I love seeing you get fired up. So
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you, man. I see you're a basketball player. I've been playing tennis with some Drake tennis players. They got some good players.
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
some of my boys play there, so that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Biggest question about your legitimacy as a candidate has been your age. You know, I was a 22-year-old college kid. I love the idea of having younger candidates in office, but how has this been a challenge for you?
Yeah, look, it's been a big challenge. I mean, frankly, most caucus goers are 3-4 times your age. Let's be real about that. And I want people like you to come out to the caucus, and we're going to college campuses for that reason. One of the things I want people to understand, what I see when I go to college campuses, I think actually many Republican candidates are scared of facing off with your generation, actually. Some of them hit me for being on TikTok because it reaches you all. I think we should be reaching out to young voters. What I see isn't a base of young voters who's against our shared values. I see a lot of peers in your generation and our generation that are lost, hungry for direction, right? The left will prey on that vacuum with race, gender, sexuality, climate. I'm not going to blame them. I'm going to blame the Republican Party. We've gotten lazy just criticizing that vision without offering our own vision. Individual, family, nation, God. Yes, I said the G word. That beats race, gender, sexuality, and climate if we have the courage to actually stand for something. And so I believe that your generation, I believe that we're at a tipping point. And there's a reason. I've talked about Thomas Jefferson. He was 33 when he wrote the Declaration. He also invented the swivel chair while he was at it. Think about that founding spirit. We're the pioneers. We're the explorers in this country, the unafraid, the people who nobody and no government dares to stop. That's who we are as Americans. Our pursuit of excellence, that's what makes us American. And I think it's going to take somebody in your generation, somebody whose best days in life are still yet ahead, to see a country whose best days are still ahead of itself. And I hope that's the case for me. I don't take every day for granted. Every day we wake up is a new blessing, and I'll leave it at that. I don't take tomorrow for granted, but I hope my best days are still ahead of me. And I think as a leader, I reject this narrative that we have to be that nation in decline, that we have to be ancient Rome. What's your name again, sir? Joe, I think our nation, like you, is actually a little young. Going through our own version of adolescence. Figuring out who we're going to be when we grow up. And when you view it that way, it all makes sense again. To me, it does. You go through that identity crisis. You lose your way a little bit. I don't know about you, but I did some stupid things, right?
Former black supremacist here.
But we're stronger for it when we get to our adulthood on the other side. So no, I don't think we have to be that nation in decline. And tell the people in your class the same thing. We can still be a nation in our ascent. If the people of the last 25 years got us to where we are, maybe we try something a little different. Somebody with fresh legs. Somebody maybe the age that our founding fathers were when they signed that declaration. And I think we live in a 1776 moment. Let's give that a try and see what happens. Thank you.
All right, we've got much more ahead. We'll be right back with more from presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy.
And I like that bit from him, you know what I'm saying? The bit of, America's just a little young, I like that, because that's what I like to think, you know what I mean? That's what I like to think, is that Britain or the United Kingdom has been around for how long? Shit. My history is world history is fading me right now, but it has to be well over 1,000 years by now, right? Same with China, well over 1,000 years. Just these places, they've been around for so long, and I'm not comparing us necessarily to Britain or to China, but in these cases, like every single one of these places, they all had ups and downs, but in the end, they've all, you know, maintained their they've maintained their culture, they've maintained their dominance on the world stage, really, for 1,000 years. So when you look at it like that, when you look at just the ups and downs of those two civilizations, I think America has a chance. I think we have a chance to keep it pushing. So that's my hopeful message of the day. That's all I got for niggas.
Welcome back to Iowa and CNN's Town Hall with Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Let's turn to Jenny Mitchell. She is an entomologist at Iowa State University from Boone, Iowa. She is a Republican who is currently undecided. Jenny?
Thank you. Thanks for being here, and thanks for coming to Iowa so much. We appreciate your visits. So freedom of religion is a part of our Constitution and obviously a huge part of our country. What do you say to those who say that you cannot?
Hold on. Let me address. What's the topic? We have a bunch of topics today. Bulldog. This is the State of the Republic. This is a segment on the Culture Show where we just talk about what happened during the week. So I appreciate you for tuning in. We're talking about Vivek's Town Hall right now. So Vivek 2024, you know what it is. I appreciate you for stopping in, man.
Be our president because your religion is not what our founding fathers based our country on.
I would say that I respectfully disagree. And, I want people to understand this about me. I would rather speak the truth and lose an election than to win by playing some political snakes and ladders. I mean, if I wanted to map out my political career and really solve for that, I could fake convert. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you about my faith. I'm Hindu. Now, I went to Christian schools. I went to St. Xavier in Cincinnati, and I actually have been on the board of St. X, except for a hiatus to run for president. And I can tell you with confidence that we share the same value set in common. I'll tell you about my faith. My faith teaches me that God puts each of us here for a purpose, that we have a moral duty to realize that purpose, that God works through us in different ways, but we're still equal because God resides in each of us. Now, I had what you would call not a traditional upbringing, but probably a very traditional upbringing, right? My parents taught me family is the foundation. Marriage is sacred. Divorce isn't some option you just prefer off a menu when things don't go your way. Abstinence before marriage is the way to go. Adultery is wrong. That the good things in life involve a sacrifice. Now, are those foreign values in this country? I know it could look that way at times. You turn on the television, go to the movie theater, your local DEI training at a company or what they're teaching your kids in schools. That could seem a little unfamiliar. I don't think it's unfamiliar to most of us. I think those are the same Judeo-Christian values that I learned at St. X. When we get to the 10 Commandments, what do they say? There's one true God. Don't take his name in vain. Observe the Sabbath. Respect your parents. Don't kill. Don't lie. Don't cheat. Don't steal. Don't commit adultery. Don't covet. That's when it hit me. We share the same value set in common. There's another core teaching in my faith, which is that we don't get to choose who God works through. God chooses who God works through. So we get to the Old Testament a little bit further along. We get to the book of Isaiah. I don't know if many of you are familiar with that one. God chose Cyrus, a Gentile all the way in Persia, to lead the Jewish people back to the promised land. And so, yes, I believe God put us here for a purpose. My faith is what leads me on this journey to run for president. My gratitude to this country is what leads me. And even when we think about the founding fathers, I'm a fan of history, okay? I talked about Thomas Jefferson earlier. We'll stick to Thomas Jefferson. He was a deist, actually. Let's be honest about it. The left wants to rewrite our history and tell you he was a slave owner, an evil man. No,
Camirado.
But
Denver
we're not going to have
Camirado.
anybody rewriting our history. Thomas Jefferson was a deist. He made the Jefferson Bible. You know how he did it? He didn't believe in all the parts of the New Testament, but he took a blade, razor blade by hand, glued it together, and that made the Jefferson Bible, which we have today. John Adams wrote letters to Thomas Jefferson, actually became something of a Hindu scholar after he left. And so I think it's important to see our founding fathers three-dimensionally, not the way that they've been rewritten post-1990 either. And so, yes, would I be the best president to spread Christianity through this country? I would not. I'd be not the best choice for that. But I also don't think that that's the job of the U.S. president. But will I stand for the Judeo-Christian values that this nation was founded on, that I was raised in, even in the Hindu faith? Yes, I will. You're darn right I will. And as a young person, picking up on that strand from earlier, I think it's my responsibility to make faith and patriotism and family and hard work cool again in this country. I think they're pretty cool. And I think that's my job as your next president. And back to the First Amendment, we will stand for religious liberty in a way that neither Republicans nor Democrats actually have. That's what the First Amendment says. You get to practice your faith. Every pastor in this country gets to do his job without the government getting in their way. That's what I'm going to keep as the president. Thank you.
Let me ask you about a little bit of news. The Supreme Court announced that it would hear a case this term that could potentially restrict access nationwide to a widely used abortion drug called mifepristone. You oppose abortion, but do you believe that the court should limit the distribution of this drug nationwide?
So I think this is a question. It's the job of the Supreme Court, who would have ever thought, to judge the law. This is a case about administrative law, actually. This is less about the abortion question, and it's more about, did the FDA exceed the scope of its statutory authority when it approved mifepristone on an emergency basis? And these emergency approvals are generally reserved for life-saving therapies that need to be brought to market quickly. So this is a symptom, Abby, of what's going on in the administrative state. The people who we elect to run the government, they're not even the ones who actually run the government right now. It's the bureaucrats in those three-letter agencies that are pulling the strings today. So the most important Supreme Court case of our lifetime, and I want people to understand this, came out last term. It's West Virginia versus EPA, that said if Congress did not expressly give an agency the right to write a regulation, then that's unconstitutional. And so it is my opinion, it's the Supreme Court's that'll matter, but I'm pretty sure they're going to come down where I am on this, that the FDA exceeded its statutory authority in using an emergency approval to approve something that doesn't fit Congress's criteria for what actually counts as an emergency approval. So yes, I hope they follow the law. I hope that's where they come down. And if the people of this country disagree with that, we have a mechanism for that. It's called the democratic process. Do it through the front door of Congress. And there's one thing I'm going to do as the next president. It's to shut down that fourth branch of government. Rescind those unconstitutional federal regulations that Congress never actually passed. And yes, lay off 75% of the federal employee headcount. That's the answer.
I want to get to our question, but
there you go. He just kind of just spit my my little description there. Oh my goodness. Like, see, this is think about where you got to think about where the question was and what the question she asked was, okay? What she asked was, do you think, you're against abortion, but do you think that the Supreme Court should, ban this drug, mifepristone? Okay. That was the question. This man said, look, that ain't even really what we're supposed to be talking about here. Why the whole basis of the lawsuit, or the whole basis of the Supreme Court case, is the fact that it was authorized under emergency use. Or emergency use is normally for life-saving medicines. Why was it done for that? Then he goes ahead and talks about the fourth wing of the government. We're supposed to have executive, legislative, and judicial. All right. There you go. Third grade civics, everybody. That's what we're supposed to have. And instead we have executive, the judicial, we have the legislative, and then we have deep state. We have the deep state branch of the government as well. And that includes the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the motherfucking FDA. Nigga, name a 3-letter, 4-letter agency, and it's in there, motherfucker. Like, that is the deep state branch. Get rid of it. The ATF, get rid of it. All right, because that is all of our tax dollars, basically, that's really where it's going to. Okay, it's paying these motherfuckers salary. We get rid of that, man, we're gonna have so much motherfucking bread in our. I'm just thinking about what it would be like to get somewhere close to the gross on my paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Just close to the gross on my paycheck instead of 50, damn near 40% of my check gone every time. I just appreciate that so much.
But just before we do that, just so that everyone is clear, you do believe that the Supreme Court should ban mifepristone.
I believe that the Supreme Court should put the FDA back in its place.
But as it relates to this particular,
that's before the court.
But as it
So I
relates
believe
to
they
this,
should rule on the law.
as it relates to this particular drug,
And as
do
it
you
relates to this
believe that that
particular
will
drug.
ultimately result in mifepristone being banned nationwide?
I believe it will result in mifepristone being
ruling?
taken off the market until they go through the process that's ordained for every other drug that doesn't go through emergency approval.
Okay.
The FDA should follow the law if the rest of us do too. It's a
All
simple
right.
thing to ask.
I do want to go to our audience again. We've got Claire Musselman here waiting to ask a question. She's a professor at Drake University who teaches in the College of Business and Education. She's a Republican from West Des Moines who is undecided. Claire?
Thank you, Abby. Thank you also for spending time with our students at Drake. As a professor, I think it's super important that we get that opportunity. So thank you for spending time with them. As president, what specific strategies would you implement to promote diversity and inclusion in leadership roles within both public and private sectors?
Where's she at? What'd she be doing?
Very honest with you. I'm going to share with you Thomas Sowell quote that stuck with me. If you care about somebody, you tell them the truth, or at least what you believe. If you care about yourself, you tell them what they want to hear. And I have a feeling I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear on this one. So I think the diversity, equity, inclusion agenda has been abused. In the name of diversity, we have, at many of our universities, totally sacrificed diversity of thought. In the name of equity, we've perpetuated a lot of inequity and inequality of opportunity through affirmative action and otherwise. In the name of inclusion, we've created a new culture of exclusion where certain points of view aren't welcome. So especially in a university setting, what do I care about? Diversity of viewpoint. This is important, actually. I think diversity of viewpoint is part of what this country was built on. Well, the best way to foster diversity of viewpoint is to screen candidates for the diversity of their views, actually. Look at the board members of many universities. You're going to go through their partisan affiliation. It's not 80-20. It's going to be like 90-10 in the other direction. That's completely at odds with the representation of this country. So do I value diversity of viewpoint? Absolutely. Do I think we're doing a good job of that? No, we're not. And it's not an accident. In the name of diversity, we've actually created a new culture of conformity. And so I think it's entirely possible to have a group of 10 people who look similar to one another who have different views. I think it's entirely possible to have a group of 10 people who look different from one another, or who look the same as one another but have different views, or look different from one another and have the same views. And so I think the best way to screen candidates for the diversity of their experiences is to actually ask them about the diversity of their experiences. And I think the use of these racial and gender quota systems, I think, have actually created a new form of racism in the United States that otherwise would not have existed. It's sad to me. I mean, I've hired, not because I was thinking about it consciously, plenty of Black women in different positions of authority in this campaign or other companies or whatever. And I can tell you, it saddens me when people look at somebody who I hired on the basis of merit and say that they only got that job because of their race or gender. That doesn't do anybody a favor. And so I think if we restore true meritocracy in this country and embrace true diversity of thought, chances are we're actually going to have a bunch of different shades of melanin and a range of genders in different positions. But let it be not the goal. Let it just be a byproduct of actually selecting for people who are the best person for the job, and especially in a university setting, diverse viewpoints as well. That's what I'll say.
And that's a good place for us to pause. We'll be right back with more from presidential candidate Vivek.
I don't think she was actually a Republican. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't think so. That was one hell of a, left-ass question, liberal-ass question. I don't know. So maybe I'm being judgmental, but question about representation. What are you gonna do for representation? And what? you talking about right now? What you talking about right now?
Vivek Ramaswamy. well with presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Let's go straight to the audience. We've got Rhonda McCoy here. She's a retired French professor from West Des Moines. Rhonda is a Republican who is undecided in this primary. Rhonda?
Good evening. Thank you for being here.
Bonsoir.
You bet. What is the most important or interesting thing you've learned about Iowans during your travel through the state?
I've learned a lot. I think one thing I share in common with Iowans is a level of candor, actually. Everybody told me about Iowa nice. That's what I was told before I came here. What I've actually found is Iowa candor. And I appreciate that because that's the true form of nice. You know, this is the 10th event we're doing today, actually. So we've done 10 events like this across the state. And I found that people appreciate that. We're visiting, they call the full Grassley. You visit all 99 counties. We're doing that times 2, actually, in this year period. And it doesn't feel like work to me, actually. Feels like we're having open conversations. I find that they don't appreciate pre-canned speeches. So I've mostly dispensed with that. Or if I'm going to do it, I'll keep it to 2 to 5 minutes. I find that they actually appreciate and relish open conversation and candor. I think that's one of the things that surprised me most. The other thing that I think that surprised me was somebody told me this. We ran the Des Moines Turkey Trot. We were here on Thanksgiving. And as I was running, somebody wished me good luck. And then she said, but you know how to spell luck, right? And this is an expression I had learned from my parents a long time ago. She says, you spell it W-O-R-K. And I said, you know what? That sounds like something that my parents taught me when I was little. But I think that that's also something that I found amongst Iowans is they value people who work hard because many of you do work hard. A culture of farmers, a culture of people who are business builders across the state. And I think that's something that we would do well to make a national value in this country again. Embrace hard work, give us back our sense of purpose. That's how we revive this country. So, thank you.
All right. Well, a big thank you to our audience and thank you to Mr. Ramaswamy. Thank you to our hosts here at Grandview University, Caitlin Collins.
Abby, all you got to do is just, because she's so nice, man. She's so nice. Like, she's so, like, look at her little pantsuit, you know what I'm saying? She's so nice, but she just won't shut up. And I love it, but it's all good. It's all good. I'll, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Pat from X, for real, dog. You know what I'm saying? She was annoying. But I mean, when she's not talking, when she's on pause, you know what I'm saying? I can't get enough of her. I love her. You know what I'm saying? When she stops talking, I'll be right there, waiting to. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be right there, waiting to slide in. You know what I'm saying? I'll be right there. But this town hall, like, just at every single point, at every single point, he hit every single point in there. You know, like he hit like things that I talk about that like I don't expect candidates to talk about. You know, most people are on pause, right? I don't know about that. You ever seen what's Gorak the what's her name? Gorak the Destroyer, something like that. Something like that. I don't know. I don't care what time you pause her on or him on or whatever the fuck. I don't care. Don't matter. Ain't eye candy to me. Ain't eye candy to me. But you know, to each his own, I guess. But just shit that I be talking about, like to people, like when he talks about those regulations and he talks about like things with like when he talks about the immigration, when he talk like this is shit that I just talk about like when I'm just with the boys. You know what I mean? Like when I'm with the boys, this is what I be talking about. Like, man, they need to get rid of this shit. Man, they need to, you know, get this shit, that shit. Like, this is what I think about him. And he's just shooting with it. Just shooting with it. This is just candor. Like, none of that was pre-scripted, you know what I mean? And you could tell it was all authentic. And that's what I appreciate about Vivek and Trump. I appreciate them both. You know, like, and that's what makes them the best candidates in this race. But Vivek's age, his the elegance, his articulation of the issues, and his solution-oriented discussions with the American people, all these things combined together, like it's just something that puts him above Trump for me. That's just what it is. It's just what it is. I can't necessarily say that. See, like I said, like earlier in the stream, right? With when he was talking about when he got the question about Ukraine, right? And he goes into this long and it's not pre-canned, it's not a canned speech or anything. But he goes into this long descriptive response about, you know, the relationship between Russia and China, the relationship between Ukraine and Russia, our relationship with NATO, NATO's relationship with Russia, this, that, and the other. Like all this. This is the like this, like the question was just, you know, like, how do you think Putin's going to respond to this? And he brings in all these different equations that, all right, so and this is what I'm bringing in, and this is going to connect with this and this and that. And I don't get that with Trump. I you know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, I love Trump, love him, love my boy Trump. But the fact of the matter is that when you think about somebody who can actually talk through the issues with you, instead of just like Trump on that same issue, when asked and pressed about Ukraine, you know what he said he would do? He said, I'm going to end it on day one. See, Bulldog, Vivek is head and shoulders, but I agree. I agree. I agree. I think he's the perfect candidate to put forward in the Republican Party, if he's gonna run. Like, because they're already talking about not doing any more debates, right? But that's the thing though with the RNC, and that's why I don't really jive with the. That's why I say that I'm not a Republican. That's why I say that I'm an independent. But I will vote Republican. You know what I mean? Like, and it's because like of things that the RNC will do. You know what I mean? It's because I believe that once again we are being like gifted on a shit platter to geriatric patients. You know what I'm saying? Once again, right? We're getting gifted to geriatric people. Although one is significantly better than the other, they're still both geriatrics. They're going to be 80 years old. Biden damn near going to be pushing 90 by the time, if he gets reelected. Biden's going to be pushing 90 by the time he gets out of office if he got reelected. What's that? You in touch with any Colorado politicos? I'm not. I'm in a couple like Facebook groups and stuff like that, but I'm not in touch with like any people out here. You know what I mean? Like there's, you know, it's too much. There's a lot of I tend to stay to myself. You know what I mean? I just do my work, and I enjoy what I do, and I do this in my spare time. You know what I mean? I do this, yeah. Just talk about politics because that's you know what I enjoy the most. You know, I enjoy talking about politics, and most of the people in my daily life, they don't necessarily you know talk about politics. You know, I deal with a lot of I won't say NPCs. I'll say surface level people. I deal with a lot of surface level people. you could invite Vivek and coordinate a debate with him. Hey, I would love to do I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I have so many questions. I have questions for Vivek that, you probably wouldn't, hear, just so people can see. But yeah, I have questions for Vivek that you probably wouldn't see on, or that you're definitely not going to see on any mainstream platform, any other platform. I just have questions, and I have perspectives that I believe that he, a president should hear. All right, especially coming from somebody of my generation, somebody who's gone through the things that I've gone through in life, and who now believes things that I believe. Like like what in terms of like things that I would ask Vivek. Well, in terms of things that I would ask him, I would definitely ask him things about like how he feels about. Well, I know how he feels about the Great Society, but what more in depth would be like what he plans to do about it, right? Like what in specific, like does he plan on getting rid of welfare or cutting it, or will he a Section 8, like, or is he getting like what are the specific things that I'm obviously going to write down all the questions and things like that, but what are the specific things that you plan on doing as far as breaking down the Great Society, so that way, because that's what I believe is specifically going to help the Black community. I think that when you incentivize, and I think that anybody who runs a business, or like anybody who like runs a team, trains people, anything, when you incentivize somebody, right, to do something bad or good, when you incentivize them to do something, they will do it, right? If there's money involved or whatever, free time they can get, whatever, however they can get over you, they will do it. So right now in the Black community, and for the past 50 years, the Black community has been incentivized. Black women and Black men have been incentivized to, engage in single parent household relationships. Like when you look at the statistics, and this is coming from the Black community, when you look at the statistics, it says about 74% of Black women are, there's no father in the home or whatever, but that's not necessarily true, right? It's not necessarily true. The problem is that 72 or 74% of Black women just are not married with kids, right? About 50% of that 72%, right? About 50% of that, they're together or in some capacity together, but they're using government benefits in order to like get by, and to escape by. I've seen it, right? Where they'll be unmarried, right? There'll be two people unmarried, and I'm sure people do this across races, but this is what I've seen, right? And I'm not snitching on nobody, so just letting you know. But people, they'll like the woman will get on Section 8, she'll get the food stamps. The dude he'll live there, he'll stay there, but he'll have his shit, you know what I'm saying, like in a place that it can be, easily disposed of, right? And it could be, just easily dispose of it, move it, put it in the car so he can go whenever. Top 3 questions about your concern of the Black community. Top 3 questions about my concerns. Okay. What specifically are you going to do about the Great Society? About the Great Society project? What do you, let's see. Yeah, so what specifically would you do about the Great Society project? What do you believe is, because like I would definitely, because like, he believes that fatherlessness is the biggest issue, but I would definitely want to ask him, like, what specific economic factors does he believe would incentivize Black Americans to, get to work? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because the problem is that there is no incentive. Most Black people feel like that, there is no way forward. And in a lot of cases, I feel that, because I've been there, right? I've been struggling. I have slept on the streets and on the corners and all that. I've done it, and I've hustled, I grinded, and got myself this, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm chilling now, but I've been there. And I understand why it sometimes feels like there's no way forward. So I one thing like I would ask him in addition would be like what he plans on doing about the public schools, right? So he plans on, you know, dismantling the Department of Education, but at that point, what would be his prescription for states as far as what they should do with their money? Can we post these questions on X with your approval? Hell yeah, do your thing. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But yeah, definitely would ask him like in that instance, just what he plans on doing educational wise, like in the public schools while we have them. Because I don't personally, I think that if we were to get rid of public schools, you know what I mean, like the private schools would automatically become cheaper because they would want, you know, more people will be able to, you know, would need schooling, right? So you have to make it cheaper, and then more people will go in, and then that would, you know, cover that, you know. So in summary, top 3. Okay, so what do you plan on doing about the Great Society project? What was it? What specific economic factors do you think would incentivize people to get back to work? Like, what do you plan on doing about regulations and such? Like, what specific regulations are you talking about, right? And then the last question would be, what do you plan on doing educational wise? Because I think that before the 1970s, Black people were, and people of all, like, we had in schools, we had workshop, we had fucking auto mechanic shops, things like that. Things like that are gone. You know, there's no more room for it. Well, it's all in the unions now, right? So those are my 3 questions. But shit, hell yeah, you can go ahead and post those, and you can post those anywhere. You know what I mean? And while you're at it, go ahead and post my website. You know what I mean? Go ahead and post my website. I want to know what Vivek has, what Vivek thinks of my designs. You know what I'm saying? There's only a few there right now, so. What's that? Yes, on the trade schools, bring them back. I can agree with that, buddy. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing, right? I think the reason why college is so expensive is because they can be. They fucking, like, you know, like, I think that that's the main. If you were to ask me, why do you think college is so expensive, Nate? Why do you think college is so expensive? Well, I think college is so expensive because it can be, right? It can be. There's a direct high school, or there's a direct, you know, K through 12 pipeline into college. They don't talk about trade schools for real. You know what I mean? Like, I can count on my hand the times that they brought up trade school back in high school. You know, I can count on my hands. The real thing was college. It was all about college, because college, if you go to college, you can make this much money. If you go this many years, you can make this much money. Do what you want to do. Study what you want. You can make it, you know, just go to college. Doesn't matter. Just go to college, you know. Trade schools need to be absolutely a part of it. But here's my thing with the trade schools. I'm fine with them, but we used to have trade school in high school, right? And it was just a part of the curriculum. Boys just, you know, men just learned how to be men in school. And there was home ec, right? You know, people learned how to cook in school, you know, how to take care of your, you know, like in school, you learn how to live life, right? And I think that when we put this, you know, direct K through 12 pipeline into colleges, and, you know, it's not like, I mean, private schools, they can, you know, they can definitely compete. We see the biggest ones, you know, they have been around for the longest. But if you're trying to start a new school, a new private school, and you got to deal with the regulations, and you got to deal with how much money it is just to even start your own school, you know, then you got to go by the curriculums. It's too much, right? There's too many factors in place that you have to go through in order to get in that door. And that goes for anything. That goes for anything in America. Like, everything is regulated to shit. Like, if I could, if I could, and this is, I know I don't have big dreams or whatever, but if I could, I would be a taxi driver, right? Because I like, yes, this question right here, 1000%. Shut it down. Shut it down immediately. This question right here, shut it down immediately. Shut it down immediately, man. I need that. I need that because, yeah, I need that. I need that. Shut that shit down. Shut it down. That's just, what's that? Why would I agree with shutting down, the Department of Education? Because that's $80 billion a year that people are spending, and that's $80 billion a year that I could, that I could use. You know what I mean? People could use that. I could use that. That goes into the property taxes. That's why rent is so damn high. We pay for education through property taxes. The landlords have to pay property taxes. And what do you think they're going to do? They're just going to come out of pocket with that just out of goodness of their heart? May I make a suggestion? Yeah, of course. Make suggestions. We're here. We're talking. We're communicating. Let me get some background music going.
Biden kissing little kids, gripping on their business. Trump was trying to.
Oh no. Here we go. Edit out your response. Edit out your response about your answer of the Department of Education and post it. 1000%. Oh yeah, all this is getting. There's a couple of places I'm going back. I'm clipping this up. Like I'm just getting, I'm getting in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting in there. I definitely agree that more people need to hear that, because a lot of people don't understand it. And a lot of people don't understand that when you have, when you have public versus private in the market of free ideas, it doesn't work. It never works, because public is always going to have that funding. Private, they have to, they have to work. They have to, entice people to, partake and fund and this, that, and the other. That's what private has to do. Public, they just get the funding. You know what I'm saying? They go, they beg, and their money, it doesn't just cease. You know what I mean? Ever, it either goes a little higher or a little lower. You know what I mean? Like that's it. It goes a little higher or a little lower. They never have to worry about getting their supplies completely cut off. And when that shit goes a little lower, the lowest people on the rung, they have to go. All the programs that I was just talking about, the home ec, all that. You know what I'm saying? Just absolutely gets destroyed in the aftermath. That's just what it is. That's what we've seen happening. More money we've been giving these motherfuckers. I just got out of high school. I've been out of high school about 5 years now. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen. I remember exactly, like, we used to, like. I remember the superintendent coming through in like Gucci suits, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Like these are like, that's where all the money's going. You know what I mean? It's going to Gucci suits. You know what I mean? It's going to the Gators. That's where it's going. It's going to the teachers' unions, not the teachers themselves, but the heads of the teachers' unions. Just like mob bosses, these motherfuckers come in and they collect. Like, if you become a teacher, like in most cases, like if you become a teacher, if you become a welder, if you become like some care, you have to get into. Am I on TikTok? I'm on TikTok, but I haven't posted much yet. You can follow me on TikTok at the Cult-ure Show. Where is it at? Let me see. Make sure I got that right, because I just created it a little while ago, but I haven't posted much on there. Yeah, at the Culture Show TV on TikTok. If you want to follow me on there, I will be posting clips from this live stream on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, and on X. So, and then yeah, I'll definitely clip that answer, and then I'll send that to Bulldogs. Yeah, I'll do that. Shoot, honestly, what I was thinking of is probably what most likely is going to end up happening here is I want to do this segment every week where I talk, where I just engage with the community, and I talk about the crazy shit that's happened over the week, right? But throughout the week, I also want to start releasing, just my views on shit, right? Because I think that, and it's not, I'm not saying that it's not anything like that is absolutely unique, because like I have teachers, you know what I mean? Like Dr. Clark Anderson, Thomas Sowell, right? Walter Williams, right? Like these are guys that I've learned from, that I've taken my economic cues from. But I think there are things that need to be updated, and that definitely more people of color, more shit, not even just people of color. I hate using that fucking term, but it's in my fucking head. But I think people need to hear that, of all races, of all, they need to hear it, especially coming from, because you know how it is when it comes from the white dudes, you know what I'm saying? And I listen to them, you know what I mean? And that's and I love white people, but the problem is that there's a stigma. There is a stigma on white people right now. Okay, unfortunately. All right. I do remember a time where we all got along, but that time is no longer. All right. That time is no longer. And I think they need to hear it from, young dreaded Nate the Great. Appreciate you for pulling back up, man. There was actually, I wonder if it's still going on. Probably not. I probably missed it. Let me see. Because I think Vivek just did a stream. Oh, hold on. We got to talk about this real quick. We'll hop back on Vivek real quick, but we got to talk about this. Oh, you haven't missed too much, man. We were just talking about the Department of Education. We were talking about a couple of questions I would ask Vivek Ramaswamy, if I could, right? That's about it. So you haven't missed too much. There's this thing that I wanted to talk about, because it's really getting on my nerves. All right, this is the reason why the Black community is broke as fuck. All right, I think everybody knows, right, that the Black community just so happens to be one of the lowest. I think it's either number one or number two of the lowest net worth per household, right? Has to be. I have to talk about this real quick. All right. So this is the reason why we are broke. All right, Shorty eating, right? Now that's not why. That's not why the black community is broke. All right. Shorty right here, who's killing it. All right, she's not the reason why the black community is broke. This right here is the reason why the black community is broke. Culture appropriation, says Sir Major. All right, culture appropriation, foundational Black American, whatever. This, dumb shit. All right. This is what happens when you just invite tether Caribbeans and Africans to join your Greek orgs. They get in the ranks and then allow this buffoonery to happen. In 20 years, the HBCU and D9 tradition and culture will be watered down and not respected. Now, here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem. And here's why I say this is why the black community is broke. The great thing about America is that when people demand something, right, you have an opportunity every time. Everybody, okay, no matter who you are in this country, you have an opportunity to capitalize on that demand. All right, you have that's what capitalism is. You have an opportunity to capitalize on that demand. I've been meaning to say this in the video, so I'm just gonna say it now and then I'm gonna clip it. All right. The reason the black community is broke is because whenever it is time to capitalize on a market opening, all right, what do black people do? Oh, here come the culture vultures. Oh, here comes this. Oh, here comes that. You want to know what is going to cause the black culture to become watered down? Is allowing people to partake in the culture free of us. What do I mean by that? Do you think white people don't dance in their house? Do you think white people don't do like black dance? Do you think they don't rap at the crib? You think they don't partake in certain, like, everybody does these things. All right, they're going to do it in the privacy of their homes. All right, whether you like it or not, they're going to partake in whatever they like to, in whatever music, whatever. So when there's a demand for this, I don't know, like let me give an example. Let's use hair. Right? All right. There's a demand amongst white women, Latina women, Asian women. All right. There's a demand amongst them to get box braids and sew-ins and all these different kinds of hairstyles that black women are very adept at doing. Sounds like cha-ching to a guy like me. Sounds like more customers to a guy like me. But what happens when we see on the internet a white woman with box braids? We don't say, "Oh, shorty, I could have done that better." You know what I'm saying? Oh, come to my shop whenever you come out. You know what I'm saying? Hit this city. Come to my shop. Come, hit us up. Let us know what's going on. They never say nothing like that. It's always, "Oh, she's trying to look like us and this, that, and the other. This is why black people aren't respected, because they're always trying to take our, like." Have you ever heard of the Chinese? China has been selling their culture for over 1,000 years. You know how much influence the black culture takes from Asian culture? Let's really talk about it. Wu-Tang Clan, Kung Fu Kenny. Let's really talk about it. You know how much influence? See, Pat True. It's true. How much influence does the black community take from different, like even down south black community? Let's not, like Thomas Sowell said this, let's not sit here and act like we came up with the slang and the term. No, that is freaking poor English, like poor 16th century English. Like that's where that shit came from. You know what I mean? Like that's where that accent and the broken English and all that, that's where it comes from. You know, and I partake in the Ebonics, you know, I do. But at the same time, reverse racism is, yeah, of course it is. Of course, there's no such thing as reverse. When you add in the reverse, see, when you add in the reverse racism, it automatically puts black people at a lower. You know what I mean? Like this, and that's the problem with the BLM or the Democratic or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, is that all this? It automatically puts black people at a lower rung, right? Somebody's trying to, or in some people, like in black people's minds, it's putting us above, but in other people's, it's just putting us down there. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody black came through, and it happens all the time, comes through in like a traditional Asian, you know what I'm saying, dress, and they're like a kimono, right? You know what I'm saying, something like that, and they're, you know, some beautiful Asian traditional, you know, it's beautiful, right? Somebody comes through in that, nobody's gonna say nothing. Let one of these white women come out here and dress black. Oh, now she's taking in this, that. Instead of coming in and capitalizing like, oh, white people want to dress like us, well, we should start clothing lines and target white people. This is how you look like an authentic. This is where the authentically hood. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what do you like? How do you think this shit works? How do you think the Asians came through and made money? The Asians, the Italians, the Irish, every single one of the communities that has come out here from whatever section, whatever country they came from, they've come to America and they've carved out a bit of their own piece of the pie. For some reason, with the pie right there, pie right here. Hold up. The pie is right here, my G. It's right here. It's right here. They're waiting on it. It's right there. And we're not partaking. We have an issue with partaking and eating the pie. For some reason, instead of going and grabbing the utensils ourselves, getting the fork and the knife and cutting into the pie and grabbing the motherfucking slice of the pie, we want somebody to hand it to us. That is why the community is broke. That is why the community is broke. And then when you say something like this, you get accused of being an Uncle Tom. But the reason why I'm living life lavishly and luxuriously is because of capitalism. Because I decided to capitalize on markets that I've seen that had an opening. That's what I'm doing now in this YouTube thing. I'm capitalizing on a market that I see. I see that there is nobody that looks like me that is saying the things that I'm saying. That is a market opening. So what do? You get in there. You get dirty. It's going to take a while. It's going to take some blood and some sweat. What, you think my fucking website, my business, you think it just shits money out? Make a little money here and there, you know what I'm saying? But it's not profitable. No, it's not profitable. No, I make money though. That's what it is. It's not profitable, but it makes money. That's what it is. You got to capitalize on those certain things. And then eventually you become profitable and you're able to give back to the business and then expand. That's the dream right there. That's the dream. When I say I'm living lavishly and luxurious, I don't mean like I live in like a penthouse or some crazy ass shit like that, but I have enough. And I'm doing what I want to do, and I have enough. And you can only do this in America, where you're doing what you want to do while pursuing something greater. And you know, like it's only here. But black people don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. 6 to 8 hours of work, go home and complain. That's it. Like that is the schedule. 6 to 8 hours of work, go home, hop on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and complain. Or post pictures. Post ass pictures. I don't know. Make a rap about killing niggas. That is. I mean, niggas are capitalizing on that market. Niggas know what capitalism means then. It's just art then. It's not authentic then. Or it is, but it's not. It's just art. It's just entertainment. Because if they bring it before the court, even though you might have admitted to some bullshit on your song that directly lines up with some shit that happens in real life, even though you might have admitted to, hey, it's just art, just entertainment. You can't use it against me. First Amendment or whatever the fuck you're trying to say. That is like you completely all right. When it comes to talking about killing niggas and selling pussy and all that shit, yeah. Well, capitalism cool. But when it comes to actually making your money in a legitimate way, in a way that you don't have to sell your soul, in a way that you don't have to sell out your community, because you don't have to sell out your community in order to monetizing your community doesn't mean you're selling it out. Let's just get that out the way. Monetizing your community does not mean that you're selling it out. But it means that you're able to make profit off of imitation. You're able to make profit off of imitation. What's the difference between going into a Chinese massage parlor and going to a regular ass massage parlor? There's no fucking difference. You're going to get the same shit. Same shit. I went to both. It's the same happy ending. Okay? You're going to get the same shit both places. All right? What's the difference? There's no real difference besides maybe the price, or when you go into the Chinese spot, they got the feng shui, you know what I'm saying? They got the incense burning, you know what I'm saying? They got the Chinese bitches practicing martial arts, you know what I'm saying, in the corner practicing yoga and shit. And you feel like you're a part of the, you know what I'm saying? You feel like you walking in and you're like, you know what? I feel like I'm about to get like a real live, authentic, you know what I'm saying, showing right now. Like I feel like I'm about to, like that's what you feel. That's what you when you walk into an authentic Chinese massage parlor or some, you know what I'm saying? There's no difference between that Chinese massage parlor and the regular one, where you can just go and just get your shit cracked for real quick. There's no difference. It's just the facade. It's not real authenticity. They probably got a sushi menu on the wall. You don't believe that. They talking about this means peace, love, and happiness. That's all that nigga. That means sushi fondue. They got sushi fondue up there, and you think it means peace, love, and happiness, and they laughing at you, but they making money. It doesn't matter. Who cares? You having a good time. You don't think they make it? What? That is the dream. That's the goal. That's how we make money. But instead, what do we opt for? What do you opt for in this community? Communism. That's what I mean. Let's just put it on the table. That's where we're going. That's what niggas are asking for. Niggas want reparations. Niggas want this. Niggas want that. And I get it. Look, when we talk about reparations, you'll never hear me say I don't want reparations. Right? If you say that you're gonna give me a check for being black, hey, hey yo, hey, where do I sign up? You know what I'm saying? Like, where do I sign up? I'll partake all day, but I'm not gonna sit here and actually make that like a feasible, because you got to think about it. Like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna get that in cash. We're gonna get that. Like, the only way that it's possibly gonna work is by getting into land, and the only way that we're gonna be able to get it in land is by seizing land, and that's, do you want to do that? Like, I don't know. There's a couple of ways that it could possibly do it, but it's like, which way do you really truly want to go? Like, and either way it goes, even if we get reparations, we're gonna pay for the reparations. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna come out of taxes. That's what it's gonna do. What else is it gonna come? Like, Who are they gonna steal the money from? Who are they gonna take the money from? The government don't produce shit. All they can do is print up some money. If they print up however many trillions of dollars that it takes to actually provide reparations for Black people, do you know how shit the economy would immediately become? We would immediately become Venezuela overnight. We would immediately. It would cost $144,000 to get a loaf of bread. Immediately. If they just printed the shit up. So like it's come on now, like we gotta like really think. We gotta really think when it comes to shit like that, and then let's just put that to the side and let's talk about getting money first. Let's get the money first, put it together. You know what I'm saying? Put it together, come together as a community, just like we say. Stop shooting and killing, you know what I'm saying? Stop shooting and killing niggas. Stop popping pussy on the corners. You know what I'm saying? Put the kids back in school. Put the kids back in church. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back hustling. Black people were the fastest growing economic group, family unit from the 1940s all the way through the 1960s when we got Lyndon Johnson. And then the crack epidemic. And then the crime bill. Like it just shit after. Hey, I'm with you. But the problem is, whatever the case might be, all right, whatever the case might be, we always have to get it out the mud how we can. And we have to do it legally. Because if we do it illegally, they're just gonna, you know what I'm saying, throw niggas in jail. You scared of that? You scared of that? Niggas are scared of that. Niggas scared to go into jail. Or maybe you're not, you know what I mean? And maybe you want to work for, you know what I'm saying, 12 cents an hour. If that's what you're, you know what I mean? I like women. I like coochie. I like being on the outside. I like doing shit the legal way. I like doing shit the right way. It just feels better. You know what I'm saying? It just when you work hard, you know what I'm saying? Like it actually feels better. I promise you. Come on my journey of working hard, of capitalizing on markets that have a demand. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking of the Black community in this live stream. Okay? Come with me and join me on this journey of capitalizing on markets, because you know what? I'm about to start a motherfucking hair business and I'm about to sell it to white bitches. What you talking about? I'm starting a hair business. I'm selling weave to white women. I'm selling combs. I'm selling all kinds of different creams and all kinds of shit that's gonna help them keep their shit right. So hey, there's the opening in the market. I am just going for it. And there's an opening in the market right here. We see Shorty right here dancing. This is an opportunity to welcome her in and have more white people go to HBCUs. And guess what happens when more white people go to HBCUs? Maybe more white people might appreciate historical Black colleges and universities. Maybe they might stop calling them historical Black colleges and universities and just call them a good college or a good university. Why does it have to be, why is a staple that is historically Black? Why is it good? Is it a good place to go? Is it welcoming? Sadly, too many people that you have just described in the Black community have no patience. I promise you. I got to put that up there. Because I agree with that, man. Hey, yo, man, see this, and this is why I got to stop arguing on Twitter, too. Or X. That's why I got to stop arguing on X. I sent this nigga, it was like maybe 5 sentences. Not even a full paragraph. Well, yeah, I guess that's a full paragraph there. But, I think a paragraph is more like, 5 to 8, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it was like right there, right? 5 sentences. He says, I'm not reading that. I go to his Twitter bio. This nigga's a PhD or whatever. He says he's a PhD. I'm like, what the PhD in what? This nigga won't read 5 sentences. He said he won't read 5 sentences. It's gonna take a long time. Hey, I'm not reprogramming nobody. You know what I'm saying? He said it's gonna take a long. Pat said it's gonna take a long time to reprogram, and I ain't got no time for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna preach to you and tell you what I think the problems are, what I believe the solutions are, and what I believe that we can do about it. And if you want to come along on the ride and stop being broke, hey, pull up. I want an all-black team. Cult-ure Fashion Company LLC should have an all-black team. But hey, if there's a you know what I'm saying, great white people that just so happen to, you know what I'm saying, great Asians, great Latino, like why the fuck not? Why would invite everybody in so that way you can expand your market, expand the marketplace. If you're only selling to black people, you will be broke. You will be broke. Yep, people like pictures, not words to think. Folks just want to react and grab a beer or such. Hey, I agree, man. That's the problem. That's the problem with, you know, this it's the attention span. You know, we live in TikTok land, right? Folks are lazier and lazier in post-pandemic era. I agree. Yeah, it says folks are lazier and lazier in post-pandemic. I agree with that, because and it's crazy because post-pandemic era, like before the pandemic, let me tell you what life was like for me before the pandemic. Okay, I was homeless. All right, I was so homeless. I was sleeping with my home. Like I had a homeless homie who was staying with his sister. I was staying with him. So I was like, that's how broke I was. You know what I'm saying? I was that broke. Only thing I cared about is if I had enough money to give me a blunt. As long as I had enough money to give me a blunt, get through the day, I was good. Actually attaining something like what I had, anything close to the things that I have now, was absolutely out of the question in my mind. Okay? It was absolutely out of the question. But for some reason, the pandemic showed me that if you have this much, all right, this much dog in you, that's all you need. This much dog in you. I don't mean like physically violent or anything. If you have this much dog in you, and you go ahead in any industry that you go into, you can dominate. I realize that. That's all you need. Just that much dog in you. Just that much. That much. You have to be this much more willing than the average person to stand up for yourself. You have to be this much more willing than the average person to invest in yourself. You have to be this much more willing. Just this much. And you can get so much further ahead in America. It's insane. It's insane. I had zero dog in me when it came to getting money, when it came to learning new things. Like as far as the like information and knowledge, I was always that kind of guy. I was always, you know, politics and all that. But as far as actually doing anything in life, if I wasn't like gonna make money from, you know, doing this and just talking, like and that's one thing that I kind of realized that through the pandemic was like, I don't even know how to talk to people about what they need. How can I talk to people about what they want or what they should want? Culture, I'm a dog. Bulldog is a dog. Bulldog is a dog. That's all I'm telling you. If you're here right now and you got it and you got little, it takes this much, and it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna be incremental. It's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, here and there. But just this much fucking dog, and you're golden. Got a challenge for you. What's the challenge, Bulldog? Oh my goodness. So. We like your energy, partner. What's going on now? Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you. He say he likes my energy. I like that. I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all hanging in here with me. You know what I mean? Like, and then it's all good going in and out. But I appreciate y'all. Hanging in here with me. Talking to your boy. Because there's a whole lot of clips that are coming out of this. I planned on streaming probably until around 8 o'clock Mountain Time today, because I haven't really like streamed in a while. So I plan on doing like a real long stream today. So I appreciate you guys for being in here. Your best 5 to 10 second rant of what is needed for the Black community. Fuck. I mean that. Oh man, that. You got it. Oh man. Man. Hold on. You got to give me 5 to 10 second rant of what the Black community needs. The Black community needs. Oh, we'll record. Okay, cool. Hold on. All right. The Black community needs. Hold on. All right, yeah. The Black community needs incentive, not to do the wrong thing. Things like welfare, things like Section 8, all these things must go. And what must replace them is incentive for creating businesses. Creating businesses and starting families and becoming that kind of community that we were again. That's what the Black community needs. And this is what all of America needs, really. I think that's yeah. That's about it. Definitely need to get rid of regulations. Minimum wage has to go. Minimum wage has to go. Because there's a whole swath of young kids who are unskilled. All right. Oh, you want my face? Oh, you're recording. Oh, okay. Hold on. We gonna do this. We gonna do this right. All right. The Black community needs incentive not to do the wrong thing anymore. Things like Section 8 and welfare and incentives to do the wrong things need to go. We need to bring back education. We need to bring back home ec. We need to bring back these kinds of things in education for the community. We need to cut taxes. We need to cut regulations. Things like minimum wage. They absolutely have to go, because there's a whole swath of unskilled, young, talented Black men. Okay, they're unskilled, but they are talented. They do have potential, and they're not there in the marketplace. There's a glass ceiling for them in the marketplace. All right, and so they're not able to be hired on by maybe the small businesses in the Black community that would love to hire them on, maybe to sweep up the shop, maybe to take out the trash, maybe to do certain things, pass out flyers, hire them, do certain things that they cannot hire them to do now. Okay, these are the kinds of things that help the Black community become the fastest growing economic family unit from the 40s to the 60s. All right, So I say we just need a little bit more of that now. That's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Too long, bro. I know. I was ranting. But you had 3 questions. I did have 3 questions. What were my original 3 questions? Let me. I gotta write this stuff down, man. Oh, coming through with the question. Okay, so a 5 to 10 second question. Okay, so you want a 5 to 10 second question. Since this is, and I want this, I definitely want this part. I want this part clip. Definitely. Okay. Vivek Ramaswamy, Mr. Vivek, what do you plan on doing about the minimum wage? I believe the minimum wage is destructive, is one of the most destructive policies to the Black community. So what do you plan on doing about it? Yes, you do. Write it down. Oh, man. See, I gotta, these are, because that's my biggest thing right there is the minimum wage. If anybody, like, if you go to my website, it's all on there. You know what I'm saying? Go to my website. I got oh, you can't see it. Okay. All right. Let me get into the camera a little bit better. All right, there we go. Am I in the camera? You know what I'm saying? Am I good? Let me know if I'm good. No. Oh. Ha. I just realized that. I literally just realized that. That's hilarious. Sorry, she's fine, man. If y'all can find her for me so I can, hey, man, we need her. We need her over here. All right. She had that thing on. All right. Move that. All right. Okay. So now I got to re-ask the question, right? Okay, cool. Let's re-ask the question. Well, my question was about minimum wage. Mr. Vivek Ramaswamy, I believe that the minimum wage is the most destructive policy in the Black community, more destructive than the Great Society's project and all that. What do you plan on doing about it? There you go. Awesome. We're golden. Yeah, man, that's my biggest thing. The biggest thing is definitely minimum wage, man. I tell you what. Like I said, man, there's a huge legislative issue. That is true. That is very, very true. But the reason why I ask is because there is, like, there's a certain, I guess, agency and called, there's a certain agency called the IRS that not necessarily that goes through, you know what I'm saying, what the minimum wage is necessary, but like as far as getting rid of that deep state branch, you know what I'm saying, there is I think there is potential that we can at least get rid of that lobbying that would, you know what I mean, be the problem behind it. Because that's the biggest problem, is that there's lobbying, there's lobbyists that are paying very, very good money in order to make sure that there is that glass ceiling. You know what I mean? So I think that from that side, that's probably the best thing that Vivek could do, is just getting rid of that deep, getting rid of that deep state branch. So that way there is no form of lobbying from that side. So yeah, I get what you're saying. No president can probably, since it is a legislative issue, it would probably, oh man, it would definitely take a while to get through there. Well, what do you think? I mean, that was kind of a part of his whole thing. Saying that well, I guess he can. He did say that he could make it that you know, it was 10 years or so that you can't lobby for, but he can't do anything. Yeah, that's true. That is true. You're right, Bulldog. You're right. We're fucked. The Black community is fucked. Fuck. President's probably legislative actions. This is true. I need somebody like Bulldog on my team. I need somebody like Bulldog on my team. Man. No, it's not. What's that about? No, it's not. There you go. That's true. That's true. That's very true. Hold on. Boom. Black community needs to understand how the three branches of government works, and that is very, very true. Because I remember them. Definitely remember them, you know. But there is like a I don't know. There's like a there's like a real disconnect when it comes to like, and I wouldn't even say like just the Black community, like just Americans as a whole, like of understanding how the government functions. I think there is a big disconnect there. Which is definitely why we have to defund the Department of Education, because you know they're obviously not teaching us anything. So what do they need money for, right? Like, what do they need the money for? You know, like what do they need the bread for anyways if they're not teaching me? You know what I'm saying? About I mean, come on now. They're not teaching the populace about these things, so they don't need that kind of money anyways. Civics education is at an all-time low. Oh, that is 100%. You know, I was talking to this guy on X, and like I said, I need to stop arguing with people on X. I should just start streaming and stuff. But he said that he didn't learn about like Thurgood Marshall, Malcolm X, W.E.B. Du Bois. Like he said that he didn't learn about these people in school, and I'm like, and then like a lot of people don't understand like what. All right, a lot of if you ask the average American right now. Oh shit! Hold on. go. Excuse my absence. I had to take care of some things. But yeah, it's definitely a big shame, man. Definitely a big shame. Well, then, if Vivek couldn't do anything about the minimum wage, I guess my only real question, or not my only question, you know, I definitely would want to ask him, you know, like if I could ask him like a personal question, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would definitely be like, what was the motivation behind what was the motivation behind going into the business that he went into, right? You know, like starting Roivant, you know, and because the business strategy, like if you know what the business strategy is, like it's something like it's honestly genius, you know, like for anybody who doesn't know, for anybody in here who doesn't know what Vivek Ramaswamy, like his business strategy, like how he made his money. Like, all right, let me explain it like this. I think we all believe in the back of our minds that there are drugs and pharmaceuticals that are on the shelf, all right, that probably just need a little bit more, just need that extra push, just need that extra, you know, and they've just been let on the shelf. Maybe because they would be, you know, either too effective or because, you know, like it wouldn't help enough people or this, that, and the other, right? So what Vivek did was he would buy these drugs, right? He would buy these drugs, you know, start a company around the drug and then market those drugs and then, you know, get money to fund those drugs. And then he would then put those drugs on the market. He got 5 FDA drugs or FDA approved drugs through in his tenure. And I'm sure that he was working on developing more, right? But through that 5 drugs made hundreds of millions of dollars and also ended up helping thousands of people in the process, right? So like when you talk about like there's this thing going around, right? Like genius strategy, right? There's this thing going around about Vivek though, because so he was working on an Alzheimer drug. So we got to talk about it, right? So he was working on an Alzheimer drug with his mom, right? And Bulldog, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Axovant? I believe that it was the Alzheimer drug. But he was working on this drug, right? And the big, you know, conspiracy around it is that, you know, like he had his mom working with him to help him develop the drug. And all right, maybe the people that don't do shit ever, that might sound crazy, right? That like maybe the people whose family doesn't do shit or these people like people don't do shit, like, but let's just peel back a layer, right? Vivek Ramaswamy's mother is a geriatric psychiatrist. All right, been in the business for a while. All right, long time. Do you think that it might be, I don't know, somewhat what's the word I'm going for? Like it would be a very good idea. It would be very good. You would be inclined to be a part of, as a geriatric psychiatrist, you'd be inclined to be a part of the production of a drug that would help with Alzheimer's. Because Alzheimer's is the disease, if you didn't know, that affects the geriatric, right? Like it, you know, like, so you would think that you would want a geriatric psychiatrist on your team, right? And if it's moms, even better, right? Even better. Like I don't know, like that's one of those criticisms that, you know, I feel like it's just hate. You know what I mean? I believe personally it's just hating because there's no way you're mad at that, right? There's no you're mad his mom was on the team. I mean, there's speculation. They said they, like he flubbed some data or whatever the fuck. I obviously not, right? Like I don't necessarily believe that, but I'm just like, like as far as like having his mom on the team, which seems like to be the big contingency with this whole thing, you know what I'm saying? Because the drug ended up failing phase 3 trials that had failed a couple times prior. But those couple times prior that it had failed, that had nothing to do with Vivek. And being a part of the next, like being a part of curing Alzheimer's, you want that, okay? You want that. That is what he marketed it for. You know what I'm saying? It was a risk. It was a risk. That's capitalism. You take risks out here. Some of them you win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day, and that's the point. That is the purpose. So in that regard, Vivek is a genius to me, and I'm trying to take that same. I want to take that same energy, right? That same energy. And I'm putting it into hair. All right, I'm putting it into hair. I want to put it into clothes. I want to put it into, because there's people that want to dread their hair and shit. There's people that want to. Like I said, there's people that want to dread their hair and get box braids and shit. And I don't even have to. Like I don't know the ins and outs of that. I would need partners and stuff like that, but I know exactly who to go to. I already have, you know what I'm saying? Like my sisters who dive into this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Know how to actually work the hair, the actual science behind the hair. You know what I mean? So they know how to actually, and it's a market opening. Like I'm seeing, like there was a post the other day. This Asian dude over in I don't know. I think they were in China. I believe they were in China. Okay, there was a post, and he was getting his hair dreaded. He was trying to get his hair looking like mine. All right. Except he had like the, something I don't approve of was the little blonde tips. I don't approve of the blonde tips. I do not approve of the blonde tips. But he was getting his hair dreaded. Asian dude, you know what I'm saying? They had to do a bunch of stuff to it, you know what I'm saying? Make it look, you know what I'm saying? Put a little weave in it, make it frizzy at the end, you know what I'm saying? Black people in the comments crying, complaining. Instead of being like, you know what? I'm gonna have to open a shop out there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's unlimited money. That's unlimited money. You got people out there that, and then the hair it's not like I can just let this, you know what I'm saying? I can let this grow. I can let this grow and it'll be just fine. It'll do exactly what it wants to do. It'll plant, you know what I mean? It'll do exactly how I can get it retwisted if I want to, you know what I mean? But it's not like it's not a necessary requirement until it gets way too bad. Okay. But we all know that when white people dreads get bad, they get bad. All right. Like they get bad. Hair get matted. You know what I'm saying? Hair get matted. You can't really do much with it. Like you can't untwist it. You know what I mean? You just gotta cut it out and just restart. And that's tough, like, so why not put out a product that would help with that? You know what I'm saying? That would actually keep the hair, detangled in a way that it stays dreaded, but it doesn't gnat. You know what I mean? Like, hey, there you go. So this is what we're working on. So this is what we're working on in the behind scenes. So if you want to help out with that, definitely hit the website www.theculture.show/culture-shop. So yeah, definitely, man. Like there's just so much. There's just so much genius. There's so much genius. There was a couple of more topics that I wanted to get to. And thank you for everybody that's tuning in and that's been around. You know what I mean? I appreciate you guys. Go ahead and comment below any questions, thoughts or whatever on anything. Am I tripping? Let me know if I'm tripping on anything. You know what I mean? Let me know. There were definitely a couple more topics that I wanted to go through. Let's see here. To the Senate, people now they swear. No pussy when I see one bitch and get it. Hold up, I gotta hear that. Whoever she, I gotta hear that.
Fuck all you pussies, I'd rather get the bus. I'd rather get the bussin'. Mass off, mass off, nigga. Mass off, mass off, nigga. Mass off, mass off, nigga. Mass off, nigga. Mass off, nigga. Mass off, mass off, nigga. Mass off, mass off, nigga. Mask off, nigga. Mask off. They might not shoot the messenger, but they gon' hang a nigga. Cracking his and turn around trying to vaccinate us. I won't fall for the dick in the tailpipe like giving away my wealth, bitch. I'd rather damn die. If I said I wasn't worried, shit, I'd be a damn lie. I brought a child in this world, I'm scared of this damn life. They wanna take away the kids if we don't comply. That's why they wanna take our guns so we can't fight. But I'll be damned, I got this 6, we live on taper time. Work a 9 to fucking 6 with to make a dime. I can't go for the bull tie. Look Kamala with the thick with the started. What? I was in my bag a couple years ago. I need to get back in the studio. That's what I need to do. That's what I need to do. Psych. This is the only song I got. The only song well, it's not the only song I got. I got plenty of songs, but I don't think I want to rap anymore, man. Oh, she holding over there.
What the white man in the South has been doing to us, while they themselves here in the North.
I don't want to rap anymore, man.
They have been making a
It's,
great fuss over the South.
I don't know.
Only to blind us to
I don't feel the same way about rapping that I used to. You know, I used to love it. I used to enjoy it. I used to enjoy the culture, hip hop, but it's just not the same anymore, man. Things have changed. Things have absolutely changed, man. It's crazy.
always let you know where you stand. But these northern factions pose as white liberals. They pose as your friend, pose as your benefactor, pose as your employer. They pose as your landlord.
I guess the reason I don't like to rap anymore is because, like, in order to become mainstream in rap, you gotta like I can probably build like a cult following or some shit like that. But, you know, come on now. Like, if I really were to like try and do the rapping and just rap about the kind of shit that I want to rap about, the only way I'm ever gonna get anywhere in the industry is by taking some dick. And I'm either gonna have to take some dick or kill somebody. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to get there. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna have to water down my message, and then you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be able to rap the shit that I want to rap about on the main, you know, if I want to get like big rapping, you know. I'd rather just sing. You know. You heard it here first, folks. My first country album will be coming out next year. All right, because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. Can't rap anymore, man. Can't rap anymore. I might release one more rap song called Jezebel, because this is a really good song. I think it's a really good song. I think people would like it, but that's probably the end of rap for me, man. I don't want to be. I don't know. Like, do I want to be in the same genre associated with sexy red? You know what I'm saying? Like, do I want to be in that same genre? Like, yeah, it's a different subset of the genre, but do I want to be in that same genre with sexy red? Ice Spice, Suki Hana, Suki with the good with Suki with the good coochie is what they call her. I'm good, dog. I ain't even gonna cap with you. Black man's a threat. Yeah, man, it's just not worth it anymore. Mad soft. Mad soft. You mad soft.
They might not shoot the messenger, but they gon' hang a nigga. Cracking heads and turn around trying to vaccinate us. I won't fall for the dick in the tailpipe like giving away my wealth, bitch. I'd rather damn die. If I said I wasn't worried, shit, I'd be a damn lie. I brought a child in this world and I'm scared for his damn life. They wanna take away the kids if we don't comply. That's why they wanna take our guns so we can't fight. But I'll be damned, I got this 6. We live on take a time. Work a 9 to fucking 6, sweat to make it down. Yeah, Instagram going crazy. That's crazy.
White liberals who have posed as our friends, white liberals who have been eager to point out what the white man in the South has been doing to us, while they themselves here in the North are doing the same thing. They have been making a great fuss over the South, only to blind us to what is happening here in the North. And now that the eyes of America's 20 million blacks can easily see that this white fox here in the North is even more cruel and vicious than the white wolf in the South. The southern wolves always let you know where you stand. But these northern foxes pose as white liberals. They pose as your friend, pose as your benefactor, pose as your employer. They pose as your landlord. They pose as the neighborhood merchant. They pose as your lawyer trying to help you. They infiltrate all your organizations, and in this manner, by joining you, they strangle your militant efforts toward freedom, toward justice, and toward equality.
You know, Malcolm had a point. The reason I put that in there at the end of that song, man, I just had to get that in my system one more time, man. Malcolm had a point, and this is going to tie into the next topic, especially with the whole rap thing, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to understand, like 7 years or so, 10 years, 15 years after the Civil War, the Black community, while not on, we're not anything where, close to where we are right now, but Black community was the only place that you can get skilled labor in America. Or I should say, the Black community was the place that you could get the best skilled labor in America. So immediately our market value was just through the roof. So a lot of Black people made a lot of money. And then certain organizations come through with regulations and different things, shit like unions, the Department of Education, the Federal Reserve. There's all these different institutions that start to come in, they start creep in, and then They hit you with the niceties. Oh, we'll give you shit. We'll give you free stuff if you just let us. We'll give you free stuff if you let us protect you from this. Is how they frame it. Because when you think about it, what he's talking about, like the southern fox and the northern wolves, or the southern wolves and the northern foxes. Because the southern wolf, like if you ran into like a racist in the South back then, you're good. They're racist. You know what I mean? You don't even what it is. Where you stand in the South, right? You know where you stand with everybody in the South. But in the North, amongst the white liberals, and this is how I felt about like what kind of like coming out amongst the white, you don't like it's the same kind of racism. It's just hidden. It's hidden under slick shit. You know what I mean? They'll say slick shit like, oh yeah, black people, yeah, there's no way they have like the education and the ability to like, get an ID, get to the DMV and get an ID, get a government voter ID. It's voter suppression. They'll say shit like, black people can't be racist. This is my favorite one. The black people can't be racist because, oh my goodness. Damn. Gotta put my damn phone down. That shit crazy. But they'll say some shit like black people can't be racist. And at first, when I as a young black supremacist, you know what I'm saying? It just sounds good, And then they changed the definition of racism to include power and stuff. So, I was like, all right, man. You know what? This sounds good. That sounds good. Black people can't be racist. I'm gonna run with that. But then peel it back a layer. What is that really saying? What is it really saying? It's saying that black people are like they can say shit like like discrimination isn't enough, right? Black people, they can say shit, but they can't do nothing about it, right? Like black person, they can be racist, but they can't. They can be discriminatory, but they can't necessarily do anything about it, right? Like they don't have the power and the ability through the society to be able to actually inflict change in order to actually, which we've seen over the last decade or so that's actually incredibly false, right? But then go back just one more, and you ask, because back in the they talk a lot about white supremacy. You hear a lot about white supremacy, right? I think similar to white supremacy is white privilege, right? There is a swath of white Americans who believe in their hearts that they are privileged because they're white. This is an issue. What privileged supreme? Like privileged supreme. You have white privilege and you have white supremacy over here. Now, what's the difference? What's the difference? I mean, especially when you say like, oh yeah, I have privilege. Oh yeah, I'm a white guy. I have white privilege. Yeah. I should do what I can in order to help the Negroes. And I mean, like this is, think about it. You know what I'm like? That's you got to peel back these layers and actually hear what the fuck they're saying. Oh no. Hold on, we're dropping out. I'm going to end this stream so that way I can go ahead and let the internet do what it does and do what it will and do what it can. And then we'll come back. I'll see you guys again here tomorrow. All right. I'm going to come back tomorrow with that good. All right. We're probably going to go ahead and finish the rest of the topics that we want to talk about today. The rest of the topics that I wanted to talk about today are as follows. We want to talk about LeBron James not standing up for the national anthem. Okay. We want to talk about Cardi B, all right, and Offset, all right, and we're going to talk about that whole situation and why I think there's an issue in the Black community. There's many, but I think there's an issue with respect. I don't think Black women respect Black men anymore, and the reason why I think that might not be the reason that you believe or that you might think that I think it is for. So if you want to hear that answer, go ahead and tune in tomorrow. All right. I will be here early in the AM. All right. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Please visit the website, www.theculture.show. All right. Go ahead and support, donate if you can, get yourself some merch. Get yourself a hat. My hat's coming in here soon. All right. I'm just waiting on it right now. Okay. My hat's coming in here soon. So is my sweater. All right. Matter of fact, real quick before I do get out of here, while I'm in here, let me go ahead and, plug myself real quick. You feel me? Plug myself. Because I am my own sponsor as of right now. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. If you get the time, please go ahead and visit a culture show. All right, theculture.show. All right, www.theculture.show. See, this is the hoodie I'm getting right here, except it's coming in black. Okay, coming in black. All right, get you some shoes. You know what I'm saying? Become a brand ambassador. Help your boy out. You know what I mean? And you will make yourself some money too. 25%. Commissions is something that you won't hear very many places. I got a blog. I'll be coming out with more blogs here soon. All right. And then we got our shop right here. Okay. We got tops, jackets, bottoms, shoes, hats, and accessories and extras. All right. And the extras is shit like, cups and, those kinds of things like that, patches and things like that that you want to get. We got the polos, we got the shoes, we got the hats. All right. We got the plenty of hats. Okay, we got the joggers. We just dropped the joggers. Minimum wage is a scam hoodie. All right, so go ahead, check out the website. That's www.theculture.show. All right, and if you want to get straight to the shop, it's /culture-shop. So, all right, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Stopping in with your boy. You could have been anywhere, but you decided to kick it with your boy. So I appreciate that, guys. All right, have a good night now. Yeah.
It's just different.
I see the way these people moving, gotta step according. These days you never know who's watching, better keep your 40. Been on my soapbox for years, saying the end was coming. While y'all was busy popping Zans, the master plan unfolded. Now all I see is bot bitches and fake niggas, and pussy niggas who only bust triggers on other niggas. You get an illegal weapon and started taking pictures, like them feds ain't watching all in your celly system. China's here, motherfucker, they're no longer coming. We wear the shackles on our faces and you niggas love it. You niggas